There's no denying that the best region in all of Rainbow Six is Brazil. You're a crazy person if you disagree. They have been dominant for about half a decade at this point, always in contention to win events, be they majors, be they minors, be they other international events, and of course, the most coveted event in the calendar year, the Six Invitational. Well, the guy who joins me knows a thing or two about the Six Invitational, and he happens to know an awful lot about winning. But I feel like because you're from Brazil, a lot of people who don't speak Portuguese don't really give you the respect that you deserve. Well, hopefully today you'll get to sit on the show and tell everybody why they need to know your name. Please welcome my guest and our guest, FelipoX, joining us, formerly of Team 1, W7M, FURIA, now with Team Liquid Alienware. You are an incredible player whose mark on this game cannot be overstated, and one of the most dominant years we have ever seen with a team was done with you at the helm of that roster. Welcome in. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Parker. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great, and let's talk. Let's talk about stuff. Let's go.
I want to start by talking about you before you get into Rainbow Six, because a lot of the times when we bring on guests, we spend a lot of time talking about their teams, we talk about the game, we talk about the meta, etc. But one thing that we do kind of miss is talking about who you were before you started playing. You were very young. You were only 24 years old, and you've already won everything. You could retire and immediately go into the Hall of Fame. Nobody would doubt that, but you've still got so much more to give. Prior to Rainbow Six, what did you do, and did you ever think you would be an esports player?
Yeah, that's all I thought about. When I was 16 years old, I watched CS:GO. I watched Fallen's team. You know Fallen from SK
Mhm.
Gaming, Luminosity. He was like a legend, and I watched him play, and then I watched his vlogs, like traveling the world and playing a lot of tournaments. And I don't know, it was a dream for me. Like I was only 15 or 16 years by the time, and I wanted to do the same as him. And then I started playing Rainbow Six Siege on PS4, and I saw that I was kind of good. So I thought maybe I could go pro on this. I don't know. And then I started to grind and grind and grind every day, and I was on school at the time. Uh, so I had to like balance things out, like to not uh, to keep going great at school, but also to improve in Siege. So I was doing both at the time, and waiting to turn 18 years old. And then I turned, and the rest is history.
If you hadn't done esports, like obviously you've been incredibly successful, but you could have been like so many players that spend, years getting ready. You turn 18, you get on a team, you're not very good, the team's not very good, and you literally play 1 or 2 seasons, and that's it. Your career is basically over, right? If that had happened, what was your backup plan?
So it's actually kind of funny because when I was waiting to turn 18 years old, I started college, 1 semester on college to do psychology. Like I was studying psychology for 1 semester, waiting to turn 18 years old, and then I turned 18 years old, and then I dropped out of college.
It's funny because I feel like maybe more so as a coach, you're kind of like a team psychologist, but I feel like as an IGL, there's some psychology that's involved in being able to lead a team.
Yeah, there is a lot because you
You,
have a lot of different players, like different personalities, and you have to deal with them. You have to know how to talk with them, how to push them to be better, and yeah, it helps.
you've spent most of your career actually playing with the same players. You're not this journeyman who's bounced around and had, 30 different teammates from your go-to on Team 1 to MIBR, and then obviously this W7M Furia and now Team Liquid Core. You have basically played with the same kind of like 10-ish players your entire career. Do you find that it's easier to understand them as like an IGL and a leader if there's not that much change? Or do you kind of, like, a part of you kind of wishes that you played with more players to give you more experience dealing with different types of mindsets and mentalities?
Oh, I think I'm actually kind of lucky to be able to have played with so few players because I've had great teams, and like having few teammates, like you said, I can understand them more, and I have way more synergy with them, and they also became friends. Like the MIBR guys, they are really friends with me till now. Hertz, who is now on FURIA, is not my team anymore, but he's a really good friend for me. So it's really great for me to be able to play with such few guys in so many years.
And I mean that old W7M FURIA roster had some pretty big personalities on it. So I'm sure as a guy who was learning psychology and also helping lead the team, having to deal with guys who they're incredible players, but like JV92 is a real character. Herds is a real character. Like these guys are big personalities and you had a lot of them on your team. I'm sure that was kind of fun, but also likely came with some challenges trying to figure out how to manage all those different personalities at the same time.
Not even the biggest psychiatrist in the world could understand JV's mind. That guy is crazy, bro. I
Well,
don't. I'm with him for 3 or 4 years now, and I don't
yeah.
understand him. To this day, I don't understand him.
I will say some of my favorite memories with JV92 are just in between matches. He's just walking around, he's in flip-flops, he's in shorts, and he'll just be like, he'll see people drinking, and or I'll be like at the bar and he'll be like, hey, only one drink. Or he'll point at somebody, he'll be like, hey, no going out tonight. And it'll be like Doki or Alamau, and they'll be like,
That guy's crazy.
He's a funny guy.
He's a funny guy.
You technically started your career as a coach. Admittedly, it was for 1 month with Black Dragons. Let's start. I think that's a great starting point here. What was that? Was that just you getting your foot in the door? Like what?
That was a big mistake. That was my first mistake. The thing is, I was really young, like I said, and I wanted to go pro. Like that was my dream since 15 years, like I said, and I couldn't wait anymore, like to turn 18 years old. I just wanted to do something, and there was like a gap in the rules that you could be a coach when you were not 18. So, like, I understood the game, I knew the game strat-wise, so I could help the team, but I couldn't be a coach because I was only a 17 years old guy, and I had no experience, like world experience, like dealing with people. So that was a big mistake for me. Like I don't know how to say in English, but I I I couldn't do that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of crazy to me, and we've touched on this subject before on the show, that basically you go pro at the age of 18. Not you, but just like everybody in general, right? A lot of these kids go
Yeah.
pro, but a lot of them have never worked jobs. Some of them have never played in real sports, and it's not like I'm assuming Brazil has like a system where if you're really really good at a sport when you're young, they like have ways to like train you and prepare you, right? Like in North America, obviously, like if you're really good at say like hockey here in Canada, like there is a path to pro in hockey here. In America, there's a path to pro if you're playing football or basketball, et cetera. There really isn't a path to pro for esports, right? You kind of just live and you just play video games like you. It's like you just start playing, you're like, wow, I'm really good at this. And then you find people who are also really good at it, and suddenly you have a shot to play professionally. But like you're not media trained, you haven't been given any like financial advice, you don't have like a real support system outside of like your parents and friends. I can't imagine being like you, like a 17-year-old kid trying to coach other players. Like that would be so challenging.
I was coaching a 28-year-old guy. Like he was 11 years older than me. And how could I coach him? Like how could I tell him stuff, what to do? And I didn't know anything. So like I said, it was a mistake.
Did you ever get any pushback? Like did any of the older players ever say like you have nothing to teach me, you're just a kid?
No, but I was also scared to say stuff. Like I wouldn't say stuff that I should say sometimes because I was scared and I didn't know how to say that.
I mean, and as a coach, obviously being afraid to say the right thing is bad because,
Yeah,
you know, you should be the ultimate voice. I know that
exactly.
there are stories that have gone around of coaches who've never actually played pro, and they've made comments, and I've heard from other players that a person on the team will be like, you've never played, you don't get to like tell me what to do. And it's just like, what's going on here? Like it doesn't matter whether
Doesn't
they
make sense.
yeah, it's like they're still your coach. Like if you don't respect them, then like bring that up to your GM or something like that, and try to find a new coach, or you just find a new team. You know, I don't.
Igor is one of the greatest coaches of all time, and he
Mhm.
never played pro.
Yep.
Like he played Siege, but he never played pro.
I mean, he's obviously not as relevant these days because he's been out of the scene for a while, and the scene has obviously grown and evolved since then. But everybody, for the longest time, considered Shas on G2 and that Penta squad to be one of the best coaches of all time. I don't even know if he's good at video games. Like, I mean, I used to play Apex Legends with him and it was fun, but like we were not very good. So it's like, just because you can't do it yourself doesn't mean you don't have a good mind for it, right? Like the
Yeah.
whole idea behind the coach is the knowledge, not the ability to do it.
Yeah.
So after Black Dragons, you jump over to Team One. Now, Team One's been around a long, long time. You start as a substitute, but after Black Dragons, you're gone for 9 months, waiting till you turn 18. Was that when you went to college? Was that like
Yeah.
the window? Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Because
did?
I finished school and I
Mhm.
was early on school. Like I was 16,
Yeah.
so I was early on my class, and I had nothing to do. And like my mom was saying, you can't just play video games all day. You have to do something. And then I did the how is the name in English? Like the test to do college, the test to go to college.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You do
Like you know
like
what I'm
is
saying?
like an aptitude test or something like that, right? Like where you
Yeah,
does it
like I have
determine
to
where you
pass
go
it.
or
Yeah, you
okay.
determine where I go and
Yeah.
what I do. And then I did that, and then I went to college to do psychology for a semester. But I told my mom, I'm just doing this because you're asking me to. Because when I turn 18, I'm going to São Paulo. I'm going to turn pro, and I don't even care what you're saying. Like 18 years old, I'm an adult, and I'm
Yeah.
doing whatever I want.
I mean, look, I started casting when I was 27. So I'm much older than you when you first started. I'd moved around a bunch, but I had moved home to go back to school myself. And while I was awaiting to go back to college on my own, I started casting just for fun. And even then, like as a 27-year-old who's lived on his own, who's moved around, who'd paid off all his student loans, who was responsible, even my mom was like, "You just yell at video games. That's not a job." Like, so it's good to know that our parents have our best interests in mind. Did you
Yeah,
like
they're all right.
they? I mean, they are ultimately right. Did you like
Yeah,
college? Like, did you like psychology? Could have you seen
no,
yourself becoming? No,
no.
no.
Like I had some interest in knowing stuff about psychology, but I couldn't see myself working on that, like working as a shrink or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I just had a curiosity, on learning, but not more than that.
I was actually having this conversation with a friend about it the other day where it was like I said like I think psychology would be fun. And it's like thinking about how people think and being able to analyze the way that they arrive at their decisions and conclusions is quite fascinating. And again, you kind of get to do that as an IGL just in a very
Yeah,
different and non-clinical setting and you make psychologists, I don't know about in Brazil, but psychologists in Canada make a good amount of money. But I mean like, hey, with you winning every single thing there is, you've made some pretty good money playing video games and not having to be a psychologist. So I'd say you probably come out ahead.
that's fair.
um, for Team One, you joined that team, and there's a couple familiar names on that roster. People recognize Falls, for example. But how was it making your debut? Because correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't really play a lot of T2, right? You just kind of boom, you're in T1. Like you didn't have like a I grinded through Challenger League for, 4 seasons and blah, blah, blah. You were just so damn good. They're just like, hey, come join our team and boom.
Yeah, that's the thing. I had an underage team with Alemão, Raps,
Yeah.
Lagones, and Kurtz. It was Goal Squad, the name of the team, and we used to play with all the pro teams at the time, like Screams, but we couldn't play Challenger Series. We couldn't play the T2 because of the age. So they knew that we were good, and they knew that as soon as we turned 18, we were going to be on Pro League. So I went to Team One, Alemão went to INTZ, Lagones went to Black Dragons. Later, Reps joined me on Team One, so we didn't have to play Challenger Series. We didn't have to play T2.
Was it hard having that team that you basically grew up with split apart? Would have you liked to have kept all
Yeah,
of you together?
yeah. If there were the possibility of us grinding together and getting the spot on PL together, we would have done that. But it would have been hard because it would take a long time, like to grind the T2 and stuff. And like I said, we turned a team and we had the offers to go to T1, so it was hard to
I
keep
mean,
the team together.
Team One is probably best known for two matches in particular. Number one was that crazy match against, was it CAG, where they needed a tiebreaker match at the Mexico Major, And then, of
Yeah.
course, Team One won the Mexico Major in the grand finals. Now, some of your former teammates were on that roster. You know, you played with Falls, you played with Raps, obviously, like, but this roster that ended up winning it with Alimao, like, did you kind of see their success at Mexico and think like, damn, I kind of wish I was on that team? Because at the time, I believe you were on MIBR, if memory serves correctly.
Yeah.
did
We
you
went to
look?
MIBR and then they
Yeah,
went to T1.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was a
how was
hard
that
time.
like?
It was a hard time for me because I don't know if you remember, but it was the time that I had the surgery on my shoulder. So I
Right, right,
wasn't
right, right.
even playing. I wasn't even playing the game, and I was just watching. And then I saw my fellow teammates win everything, win the major, and it was really hard for me. I was just watching, and it could have been me. I'm here with with the surgery, with my arm like this, and I can't do nothing. So it was a hard time.
Was it you? Oh, this just unlocked a memory I haven't even thought of in a long, long time. Was it you who almost had to play on a controller because you couldn't
I
use
had
mouse?
to play on the controller.
That was you. Okay. Oh my
I played
God. Because
5 games on Pro League.
I was trying to remember this the other day. I remember just getting a message basically saying like, "Hey, this one team is not going to do well because one of their players had surgery and has to play on a controller." And I was like, "What on earth is that?"
I
I
have a lot
forgot
of
that was
history,
you.
bro. I have a lot of history.
So you know when all these console kids are like, "Bring back Pro League to console, bring back Pro League to console." What was it like being a kind of console Pro League star for a few matches?
Was not good. Uh, everyone on mouse and keyboard, and I was playing on the controller with my arm like this, and
Yeah.
it was hard. I played 5 games, and I had a bigger KPR than Mav at the time, so I wasn't the worst player in Pro League, even playing with a controller. And I was also better than Bodega, our coach at the time. So it was better playing with me in a controller than Bodega on a mouse and keyboard.
Did you at least get to play with a PlayStation controller?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Because when you
I play
said when
with
you
the
started on
PS4.
PlayStation, I was like, how cruel would it be if you had to play on like an Xbox controller?
No, no, yeah, it was a
Um,
PlayStation.
that's fascinating stuff. And yeah, I mean, there's a period of time during like obviously I'm sure for you it's kind of the same. For me, like all the COVID matches just kind of blur together because it was like we were just casting from home, like everything. There was so much upheaval, and that was obviously around the time when like all the leagues had changed too. Like we weren't running it out of Poland anymore. Like there was a huge expansion. Brazil kind of took all of its stuff in house, and it was a huge success down there. But like we weren't like in Poland. I was casting Brazil every week, right? Whereas like at home, obviously we weren't really focused on it. But yeah, wow, damn, I completely forgot that was you who played on the controller. That is, damn. Um, so you're on Team One, obviously. You basically started playing hard support, like or kind of support right away. What was there? Was this like a deliberate thing? Did you just feel more comfortable being a leader and playing like the harder, more important roles, like on support, or what? How did you find your role?
You mean on my first season when I got
Yeah,
there?
yeah. How did you like talk about your development? Because like you've mostly played. I went back and watched a bunch of your VODs. You've mostly played the same like operators and roles like kind of through most of your career, and I'm just curious how you arrived at that.
Yeah, actually, when I got to Team One, I think I was on the wrong row because
Mhm.
they didn't understand the way I played, and I was also on my first team in Pro League, so I couldn't say like I want to play this. I was just taking orders, and at the time that I got there, I was playing support 2. I was playing Gridlock, Nomad, but that was not my thing at the time. I was more of a lurker player, more of an entry 2 player, and I was really good at it. And then after my first season, I talked with them, and they understood better my strengths. And then I started playing more lurker, playing more Zofia, playing more Jacko at the time, and that's when I got really good. Like when I got really good stats, really good individual performances, and that was my thing till Furia. I was playing like in that position.
Yeah. Now, a lot of times when we have IGLs that come on our show, and Spiker was actually on here a couple weeks ago talking about it, and Spirits was on here last week. There's a difference in the way that an IGL likes to call. So somebody like Canadian, he doesn't really want to play like shields and stuff. He likes to play more of an active role. And if you see him on defense, a lot of times, if he's not like on pulse, he's going to be on those lurk roles, right? He's going to be playing Vigil or some operator that's calling from afar. But then there are other IGLs that just want to play Thermite or just want to play Ace and just want to play Monty, and that's it. What is it about the way you play that leads you to play the operators you want? Are you more of an active player? Are you more of a passive player? Or are you the kind of guy who's just like, I'll play anything as long as it helps the team?
Like I said, I was always a flex player, like a lurker player, more of an entry player, as to say. But I think as an IGL, the best way to IGL, the easier way to IGL is to be in a support player, to be in a shield, because you don't have to focus on kills, you don't have to focus on your individual, you just have to focus on helping your team, and that's basically what IGLing is to helping your team to win the round. So jumping the gun a little bit, that's what I'm doing in Team Liquid now. I'm doing the hard support stuff. I changed roles here, and I'm playing more shields. I'm playing more uh, back rows. I don't know if that's right, but I'm playing more
No, that's
shields.
perfect.
I'm playing more shields. I'm playing more thermite, and so I think it's going to be easier to IGL.
Easier to IGL, but do you think there's going to be an adjustment? Or if you've scrimmed with this new team, has there been an adjustment in how you play that's taken some time for you to learn?
A lot of things. We change a lot of things. We change because uh, now that I'm being a support, Nade is going to be second support, which was JV's role, and JV is going to take my role as a flex. So we are basically shuffling everything around, and also with the addition of Maya, who is a very different player from Hertz. We also have to change a lot of stuff between him and Casey, because Casey is more of an aggressive entry. So we are changing basically everything.
Well, there's a lot to talk about this new Team Liquid Alienware roster, and it's going to be towards the end of the show where we really get into this, because I'm enjoying just going through like a timeline of your career, right? Like, and I mean, Team Liquid is a huge organization now. I don't know if they've partnered up with, or if Alienware's just bought some naming rights. I know Alienware's been a long time sponsor of Team Liquid, but I don't know why Alienware is at the end of their name. I don't know if it's just like a contract thing or whatever, but I mean, like, get that bag. Like, esports needs more money. If Alienware is offering to spend money to help brand the team, like, hell yeah, go for it. But I like Team Liquid as an organization. I knew about them, from my StarCraft days because of Liquipedia. Like, I always have a soft spot for them, and I've talked on the show a little bit before about Nesk and his impact on the game, and now it's very fitting to me that Team Liquid has picked up a roster that will yet again write a pretty big chapter in this game's history. And no, obviously no shade to the old Liquid roster, but I think it's fair to say that you guys probably have a better chance of success just based on
Probably.
yeah. So let's go back now. Let's go back to Team One, because you're on this Team One roster and things are going well. And then your first big event is the Brazil Major that's played online. It's the fall 2020, and as we are about to find out as we go through this timeline of your events, you end up losing to Liquid. Now, there is a great deal of your career that is tied to Team Liquid, whether you lose to them or whether you beat them. For whatever reason, it's always Team Liquid that you seem to come up against. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's crazy how many times you end up crossing paths with Liquid in particular.
Yeah, since my early career, I always played against Team Liquid. I lost against them many times. I won against them many times. And also, there's a crazy stat line that I'm the I'm the guy with the most kills against Team Liquid in Tier S events. So we are kind of tied
They
since the
they
beginning.
they're just like, this guy always beats us. He's killed us more than anybody. What do we do? Sign him. Just sign him. Just get him on the team.
Yeah.
The only way for you to get those numbers up now are going to be team kills. So for the time being, Liquid is safe. I do find it interesting though. I mean, it's not just a Team Liquid thing. You ended up playing and either losing to or beating a Brazilian team like pretty much 90% of the time over the next like 4 years. Now, a lot of that is because Brazil is just such a dominant region. And I said it at the top of the show, and I really do mean it. Brazil is the best region in this game. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. Go see a psychologist if you disagree. Like, there's Brazilian dominance is here and presumably here to stay. But I was running through your tournament history, and it's like you beat NIP one event, then you lose to them the next event. Like you beat FaZe one event, then you lose to them the next event. You beat Team Liquid, then you lose to them. Like you basically like make your run by beating Los, by beating Raza Company Academy. And I'm just like, is it when you get to international events, do you like playing Brazilian teams, or would you prefer to play the teams you don't usually play? Yeah, you're shaking your head.
I don't like to, but I'm always playing them, so I don't have a choice, and then I have to accept it. But I like playing more like European teams, North American teams, because I don't get to play them like for most of the time of the year, so it's just better. It's just I don't know, it's funnier for me.
It's funnier. I'm assuming you learn more playing teams outside of Brazil because you're not used to playing them, right?
Yeah.
When we've had guests on this show before, we've talked about how some teams do really, really well in their region and some teams do really, really well internationally. So to reference Spiker again, Wildcard typically does very badly against North American teams until they go to live events. And then they do really, really well against everybody. As an IGL, do you prep differently, or do you have to do a different, like you have to do your job differently for when you're constantly playing up against Brazilian teams and then transitioning to playing like APAC, North American, and European teams? Or do you just kind of make strats that work universally and then you just hope that it holds up for international events?
The prep is kind of the same, but the tournaments are really different. Like there are like you play a South American League here, stage one, and then you go to a major. It's kind of two different games. Like the difference is really really great. So when we are playing South America League, we are playing against teams that we are screaming the whole year. So we know how they play. They know how we play, and we can't hide stuff from them. So when we are playing on major, we can hide stuff. The other team is hiding stuff, and we also don't know how they play. Like for example, this invitational, we had a group against Wildcard, Daystar. Daystar, we've never played against Daystar. I didn't even know like their names, and not in a like totally humble way, like because they're a new team. So I don't know how they play. Like I don't know how Picanzo, for example, he was a player from Daystar. I don't know how he plays, and in the game that makes a difference. So it's a totally different game in the majors and in the South America League.
So I have two questions here. The question that I'm going to ask after this, that I'll give you some time to think about, is if you could describe how all of the regions play, how would that be? So take some time to think about that, because the first question I want to ask is, let's say you're playing up against a team like Daystar, right? They play in APAC because of the time zone. Like Brazil and the East Coast of North America are almost the same time zone. You're an hour ahead of me right now. I know sometimes it can go up to 3 hours, but basically I can't watch APAC. You probably can't watch APAC. If we're watching it, we're probably watching it the next day on a VOD. How much does Igor help with prep work against these teams? Because you're the IGL. So you're going to obviously have to do the in-game calling, but if you don't know the team you're playing against, you're going to kind of rely on all the prep that's done by the rest of the team, and particularly Igor. So how helpful is he, and what does he do to prepare you for a team that you've never played against before?
Actually, the most help that we get is from Vitz and Abreu. They are our analysts, so they before the tournament they are analyzing stuff from the other teams. So they're analyzing Daystar, for example, and then they bring the data, they bring the information for us about what they do, what they like to do, about their videos, about everything, and they tell us. But like I said, we have the information, we have the data, but when you play is different. Like I'm screaming here every day against Box Zero, for example, from ENX. And I know how he plays. I know how Sexy Cake plays. And I have the information that Abreu is bringing, for example, but it's different when you go to the game and you see Picanzo like doing a spawn pick. Like you didn't think about that because you never played against him. So it's kind of hard.
Do you like playing against teams you don't see often because it's an extra challenge, or because, I mean, you said you don't like playing against Brazilian teams, even though you know them, you don't like playing against them, but that could be for a number of reasons. When you see a team like, say, Daystar or even Wildcard that you've only played like a handful of times, like when you see these teams, do you appreciate learning as you're in the match, or is it a point of frustration? Like, does it annoy you that you can't play as well as you would hope for because you are not as, you know, knowledgeable about their team?
No, I like to. I like to play. I like to take the challenge. And I like to play against good teams, because I feel like if you if you want to win a championship, you have to win against everyone. It's kind of cliche to say that, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You have to win against everyone. So we are playing wildcard, for example, in the group stage, and we lost against them, and it was a really good learning experience for the rest of the tournament. And yeah, I like that.
What do you, wild card has been a bit of pardon the pun, a wild card. A lot of teams look at them and on paper they're like, this team is fine. And yet wild card keeps going on these like very strong runs at live events. Obviously now they've lost Dash, they picked up Adrian. Do you think they're going to be a better team with Adrian? And then the other question I'm going to ask you is, what do you think, as somebody who knows this game inside and out, what do you think makes wildcard as good as they've been?
I think it's their strats mainly, and also they have really great players. Like they are not very known players. They were not
Yeah.
very known players. Now they are, like Baby Shark, Spiker, but they're really great players. Like Bay is putting really great individual performances every tournament. Baby Shark as well. Also Kenzen. Kenzen is a known guy
Yeah.
for the Sonics back then. Uh, but mainly, like I said, it's the strats. Like I think Lagones is doing a great job there. Like they really do different strats from everyone else, and really good strats. I also copied a little bit of their strats sometimes. And about the other question about Adrian, I think as an individual player, he's better than Dash. Like he puts better individual performances, but I think Dash was doing a really hard role there.
Yeah.
He was always playing shields like Blitz, Blackbeard, and it's hard to do that. It's hard to keep to do individual performances with that role, and I don't think Adrian does that. Like Adrian in secret, he didn't do that, so I don't know how they are going to do the roles there.
So when he was on our show, Spiker has basically taken over Dash's role. So I don't know what else it's doing for the rest of the team. I mean, he explained it a little on 2 episodes ago, but Spiker is now basically on Shields, and
Makes sense.
he expressed a bit of a, I don't want to say like frustration or challenges with it, but like if you know Spiker, like Spiker is a fragging IGL. Like he likes to be active, he likes to get kills, and he can do it. He's great mechanically. His game sense is really strong. Like he's an IGL, of course he's going to be good. So if you've got a guy like Spiker who can kill people while also playing, hard roles and, calling for the team, that's really quite impressive. And I mean, that was, the role you were on for a long time as well. So it's like, a thing or two about that. Spiker basically said that he's now learning shields. And I'm guessing that puts Adrian on Spiker's old roles. But again, he talked about it a bit more in the episode. I'd have to go back and rewatch it because my memory is just not there at the moment. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I do agree with you. I will say that Dash had a really tough role on that team. But from my vantage point, Dash did make some decisions that kind of left me sitting there going, why did he do that? Like, he would take fights unsupported where he would put his shield away and then he'd die immediately. And it's like, I get it. I'm not an expert. I'm the guy who talks about the game. I don't analyze the game. Like, that's not my job. And the reason why I surround myself with smarter people than me is so that I can learn. So I'm always willing to be like, yeah, I was wrong. But like when I see the way that Dash plays, there's just a part of me where it's like, I feel like he could have played that safer. I feel like he could have played that a little bit more cautiously, and maybe it would have helped the team. Spiker on that role, I'm eager to see if he's going to commit those same mistakes. But I mean, Adrian should be on paper a good upgrade to that team. But,
Yeah.
as you said, these are not known guys. So nobody really knows what to expect with this wildcard squad. They're just starting to get well known, and it's nice to see them succeed.
Yeah.
Now, back to the question that I sort of floated a little bit ago, which is, what are the differences and strengths of the regions? Because you noted that you like to play against EU, you like to play against NA. If you could describe where the regions are right now, what to you is the difference between the 4 major regions? Because obviously there's 5 now, but China hasn't played yet, so we can't really talk about them. What about the other existing 4? What are the differences?
That's a cool question because I have a different answer than most people. I think nowadays you don't like you can't separate regions. Like you can say Brazil plays aggressive. You can say North America plays slow. Like I think you have teams on North America that play slow. I think you have teams in Brazil that plays aggressive. But I think nowadays every team like has their own play style in their way, if that makes sense. Like here in Brazil, for example, you have FaZe Clan. They are a slow team. They are a really slow team, and they are a methodical team. Like they play everything by the book. And then we have us. You have us, like in FURIA, W7M. We played really aggressive. And then you go to Europe. You have G2 and you have Falcons. They play really different from each other. Also secret. So nowadays, I think you can say like a region plays like this, and other region plays like that. So
If I had to ask you to rank the regions, would you feel comfortable doing like 1, 2, 3, 4?
yeah,
Is Brazil number one?
yeah, of course.
Who's two?
Europe
Okay.
and
And obviously then North
by
America.
by far, by far.
Yeah.
Like Brazil, Europe, then you have a huge gap, and then you have North America, and then APAC.
Is there a big gap between NA and APAC, or do you see them as kind of the same?
No, there's a gap.
Okay. APAC is just like I don't know about you, but it's like what do you do about APAC? Like they looked really good like 3-4 years ago, but it's just like since then the region is just
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know the answer as well. They are
I
getting better. Like they are playing. Like I remember watching them like 5 years ago, and I didn't understand what they were doing. And I remember like talking to the guys in my team and saying why they just don't copy it like a good team.
yeah.
And they wanted to play their way. And now they are playing like in a logical way, in a way that makes sense, in the way the meta is being played. And they have great gunners, and they are doing good. Like you have Weibo. Weibo is a really good team. So I think they're getting better, but it's hard.
That's been the thing with APAC though, right? Like they've always had really good mechanically talented players. Like, you know, from Waka to even like Envy Taylor and some of those guys like you know, I remember watching the old like Cloud9/Element Mystic roster that was Mantis FPS to start with, and now I guess is like kind of like BNK FURIA, I guess is what they are now. And it's like you look at those guys and it's like they're terrifying in gunfights, but there's just like the strategic element is just like not there. And I don't to your point, like I don't get it as well. Like I guess you can like copy people's homework, like sure. It doesn't mean you understand what you're doing, but you can get a good idea of it. I guess experience is the big thing here, but it's like from a strategic element. I'm not like my knowledge of this game is fine, but it's like it's not anywhere near yours. It's nothing near the analysts. But even I watch some of these APAC teams, and I'm like, even with my level of understanding, I can pinpoint things they're doing and be like, why are you doing that? Surely their coaches should know better. If I know it, their coaches should know it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on China being involved, but I think it's exciting to see a region that big now
I
get
think it's
officially
great.
supported. You think it's great?
It's great for Siege, yeah.
Yeah. I'm do you think have you obviously you haven't scrimmed them. I'm guessing you don't know much about the teams that are over there?
I have no
No?
idea.
'Cause I was
I
gonna
watched All Gamers. I think
yeah,
it's
the
the name.
LCQs with all gamers?
Yeah, LCQ, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
watched them, and they were playing good Siege. They were playing like good strats,
Yeah.
and they have great players. I think it's going to be good for them.
I don't know if they're gonna do well right away. I think it'll
Yeah,
take them
maybe.
some time to get good.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think, you know, I know that people have obviously like political issues with China and sure, but it's like, I think their entrance to our esport is good. I think it'll bring more interest. I think it'll bring more money. I think it'll bring more attention. And, you know, another competitive region is never a bad thing from a viewership perspective. Like, frankly, like if you're not a fan of Brazilian Siege, there hasn't been a lot to be excited for over the last 3 years because Brazil just wins everything. I'm sure, you know, the Brazilian fans love it and I love it. I think it's been great. But like if you don't like Brazilian Siege, you're thinking like, okay, can NA and EU get better already? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to MIBR because with MIBR is a huge organization. And you talked about watching Fallen when you were growing up. And now you're playing for an org that he played for. He was Mr. MIBR. How did you feel as just a human being? How did you feel hearing like, oh, I might be able to play for MIBR?
I felt great because it was my first big organization. It was my first not big salary, but was my first good salary at the time. And I don't know, I felt on top of the world. And I was also playing my first invitational, 2021. So it was, I don't know, everything was going well for me.
Did you ever find that you were like a fan of a team? Because I remember when the FaZe guys got signed by FaZe Clan like 8-9 years ago. I remember talking to some of them and they're like, dude, FaZe Clan is huge in Brazil. Like everybody loves them. I can't believe I'm playing for FaZe Clan. And I even remember like when Troy, like when Canadian got signed by EG, he even said, he's like, I've been watching EG's teams forever. Like this is so cool that I now get to play for this org. Did you find yourself kind of like fanboying over MIBR, or was it just a job for you where like, I don't care, I just want to make money and be the best I can be?
Not so much fanboying because the MIBR days were like 2006, 2007. So I was a kid and I didn't
Yeah.
watch them. And then they had a comeback in 2018.
Mhm.
So I wasn't really a fanboy for MIBR, but it was really great. Like you said, it was Fallen was in the organization, so you had really big names, and it was a big moment for me.
Did you ever get to meet him?
Yeah, I
How was
met him on
that?
FURIA last year. I was
Yeah,
shaking.
you were.
I met Neymar. You know Neymar from football, soccer, and
Everybody knows Neymar. Like, I mean, if you don't know Neymar, you must live under a rock, right? Like, you
yeah.
gotta. He's huge.
So
Yeah.
basically, for everyone, Neymar would be like, "Oh, Neymar," and it was cool. But when I met Fallen, bro, it was the best day of my life. Like I was literally shaking, and like everyone was saying for me, Fallen is going to be here tomorrow. Fallen is going to be here tomorrow. And then I remember going up in the elevator, and I was already shaking. Like and I was talking to myself. You have to keep things up. You have to to keep your head straight and talk like a normal guy. And I don't even remember what I talked to him because I was so pumped.
Did you get a photo with him?
Yeah,
Good. Good. I think we focus a lot on this being a job because it is. This is a job, right? And it's like none of us know how long we'll be doing this for. Nobody knows how long the esport will go for. But like I find myself at times like I don't want to say fanboying either, but it's like there are definitely times where I will meet somebody and I'll be like, whoa, like this is cool. You know,
yeah.
like I think it was at Manchester, I think it was Danny Brown was just like walking around backstage and I was like, oh shit, okay, that's really cool. Like being able to, see him. Like there were rumors that like Macron might come by, SI in Paris, and it's like I
The
don't really
president.
love, yeah, and it's like I don't love his political views, but it's still really cool to know that he
Yeah,
could
it's
be
really cool.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. With summer right around the corner, at least up here in Canada, you might want to be stocking up on some nice t-shirts as the weather gets a little warmer. Well, I've been doing just that. And we'd like to thank Into the AM, our first sponsor here on today's episode, for providing us with some nice clothing. This t-shirt is from Into the AM. I've spoken quite glowingly about their stuff on the show before because they've sponsored previous episodes. And I got to say, I was very pleasantly surprised by the products that I received from them. Their jeans are great. I know I've told the story before about how I've worn their jacket through a number of flights because it's so comfortable and it's so warm while still looking good at the same time. But honestly, stock up on t-shirts. Right now, they have a deal where you can get 3 t-shirts for about $60. That's a t-shirt for $20. And in today's economy, that's frankly pretty good. If you don't want to get a graphic tee, they've got plain tees for about 50-ish bucks as well. And then, of course, don't forget, you get a 10% off discount code by going through us. So if you like their products, you like the way they look, or if you just simply want to go on their website and browse and maybe then change your mind and buy something and get 10% off, click the link in the description down below. Thank you so much, Into the AM, for sponsoring today's video. Obviously, like it's a good job, it pays well. We don't work as hard or as much as a lot of other jobs, but like do you ever just stop and reflect on the fact that this job has allowed you to have like financial security? It's allowed you to travel the world. You've been able to meet cool people, like some of your idols. Like, do you ever do that? Are you like that kind of person? Or are you just like, no, like this is a job. I just want to do this job as best I can.
No, I am the kind of person that reflects on it. I'm really grateful for where I am today and the things that this job, Rainbow Six as a whole, provided me. And like you said, traveling is the thing that I like the most doing, like besides playing Siege probably, but I like traveling a lot. And I met so many different places that I wouldn't have been able to if it weren't for Siege, like Saudi Arabia, like Serbia, like places that I would never go, to be honest. Like, and I went with Siege, and it was really cool, like to know these places.
Where where's your favorite place that you've been to outside of Brazil? Outside of Brazil, is there a place? Is there a
That's a
favorite
hard
location?
question.
It doesn't even need to be one. It can be a couple because I don't even know if I could name one. But
Let me think for a moment.
yeah.
I think it was not a Siege tournament, but I went to Italy. It
Ooh.
was really good because the food there is amazing. The places in Rome, like historical places, is really cool to see all that stuff. I think I would say also because of how different it is, Saudi Arabia, because like it's really different, the culture, everything.
Yeah.
It's really different from Brazil, and from North America as well. So it was really cool for me.
I've I was supposed to go to the Middle East with Milos when we still lived in Poland, and I mean, I don't know if you ever watched this show before. I'm not going to fault you if you haven't, but we've talked about EWC, and I mean, I've made my feelings known on the Saudi Arabian government and its involvement in esports. But I would still love to go to Saudi Arabia. Like, I'd love to see Riyadh. Like, I'd love to go to like Dubai. I'd love to see these cities just like as a human being. And
Yeah,
I know that I can already say right now that there's probably going to be somebody in the comments who jumps in being like, how does he say he wants to go to Riyadh when he won't work events there? And it's like, it's completely different if I want to go a place like as a tourist versus like I want to go here and work here where it's an official event and all the rest that comes with it. Like, I would gladly
yeah,
go to like Saudi Arabia and see it because I'm with you. Like, it honestly feels like a different planet. Like,
yeah.
just from what I see, like it doesn't
It's really
feel,
different. Really
yeah,
different. Everything's different. Like you said, it feels like a different planet. Like the people there, like the places, like everything. The
yeah.
weather, like it's 45 degrees, like Celsius degree, Fahrenheit. I don't know Fahrenheit.
I Canada uses Celsius, so don't worry, we're on the same
You're
page here.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. You're on the
It's
same
only
page. Okay,
America who uses that silly fucking yeah,
okay. So we're on the
yeah,
same page. So it's
yeah.
45 degrees Celsius, and it's really really hot. So it's really different. It's really cool.
Isn't everything like shut down during the day because it's just so hot that basically you have to live at night when it's somewhat more
People
reasonable?
just drive by car everywhere. Like
Yeah.
you can't walk. Like if you walk like 10 minutes, I think you die on the street because it's so hot and it's so dry. Like it's a desert. So
Yeah.
everyone's just driving, and every place is closed with AC turned on, and everyone like has night habits there.
Yeah.
Like you went to the boulevard, like the gaming boulevard, and everyone was there like till 2 a.m. Like families were there like till 2 a.m. like eating and playing games and all that stuff.
Yeah. I've um I've noticed that even here in Toronto that there are times where it's like you'll see people, and obviously you don't want to stereotype them, but it's like you'll see people who visibly look like Muslim, and it's like, but they're out so late, and it's a question that a couple even friends of mine have asked, where they're like, we were leaving a bar at like 1:30 in the morning, and we were just walking by a park, and there was like a bunch of Muslim families like out playing with their kids, and my one buddy was like, why are they up so late? Like, these are young kids. Why are they awake at 1:30? And another one of my friends said the same thing. They're like, maybe it's just that they're used to being up at night because where they're from is so
That's it.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, obviously, Saudi Arabia gets very hot, but I remember the Rio major in 2018, 2019 that I went to. We were at the Olympic compound, wherever it was, which I think is the same area where Reload was. We stayed at the hotel, and in order to get to the venue, you had to like, if you didn't like just cut across all the lanes of traffic, you had to like walk far and then like down, and it would be like a 10-minute walk. I looked at the temperature and it was like 37 degrees or something with like the humidex and all that jazz. And I was like, I'll just walk in my suit. I don't want to bring a change of clothes. I'll just walk in the suit that I'm going to be wearing on broadcast. What a terrible mistake that was.
Wrong decision.
I was outside for 2 minutes and I was sweating through my shirt already. And I was like, I get Saudi Arabia is hot, but Brazil is also very, very hot. I
Brazil
think
is very hot, yeah.
you're just used to it. I
But
think.
Saudi Arabia's Saudi Arabia is on another level, bro.
Is it?
I'm telling you, yeah, I'm telling you, because it's really dry as well. Like I said, it's a
Right.
desert, so you can't be outside like for more than 20 minutes. I think walking, like
Yeah.
you.
You
I
die,
said you
like you
die,
said, you
and
die.
yeah, I'm not joking. I think I think you really die. Like it's really hot.
Is there anywhere you haven't gone that you'd like to go to?
I want so much to go to Japan, Japan and China, like
Yeah.
to the other part of the world.
Yeah. You've never been to Japan, I take it?
No,
You know how you say Saudi Arabia feels like another planet? Japan is kind of the same. Like
yeah,
I've only been to Japan once. It was for Tokoname, and I mean, granted, like Tokoname is basically like an airport. It's not really like a city, but Nagoya is not that far away. Um, but it feels like a different world. Like they are so far ahead with a lot of their tech that it's crazy. Like just you'll go into the worst restaurant or bar you could ever imagine that looks like it's just about to fall apart, and then they'll have the best toilet you've ever used in your life, and you're like, oh, it's got heated seats, and there's a bidet, and it's got like a control panel, and you're like, what is going on here? Or it's like you ride the trains and they're so fast, they're so clean, everybody is so quiet. Like yeah.
they're really
So
polite. Like from
yes,
what I hear, they're really polite, really clean. So that must feel like a very different country.
it doesn't come without its own quirks though. Like so, I didn't know this, but apparently one of the customs in Japan is that you don't walk and like drink or eat. So you know they have the vending machines that you can buy like sandwiches and like ramen and stuff from. So apparently what you're supposed to do, and I didn't know this at the time, was you're supposed to buy it and you're supposed to like eat it there. So it's like
You
if
can take it away.
I mean, you can, but it's like I don't know. It's like I was told that culturally that's not what they usually do. So like we went to a train station in Nagoya, and there was a Starbucks there, and it's Starbucks. It's like so of course I'm gonna get it because like I don't really love Starbucks, but like it's you know what you're getting, right? Like it's a chain. It's like if you go to McDonald's, you know what you're getting. It's McDonald's,
Yeah.
right? It's not great, but you know what it is. I was walking around with my Starbucks coffee, and I was getting weird looks from just like regular people on the street that are like, why is he walking with a coffee? And I realized when I was done, there are like no garbages anywhere. So there's no garbage bins. So I walked around holding this coffee cup for like an hour and a half until I finally found like a store to like throw this garbage out in. And I was like, and when I was talking to a friend who worked for UB Japan, he was like, no, you're supposed to like buy the coffee and you're supposed to stand there and drink it and then throw it out in the store and then leave. And I was like,
Makes sense.
I'm the kind of guy where it's like, look, even if I think that a culture, like something that a culture does is like wrong or silly compared to what I do, it's their culture, so I'm going to do it,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm a guest, so, but I mean, all the more
It's
reason.
weird for us, but it makes sense.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people come to Canada and are like, this stuff is weird. Like you know, okay, like people come to North America and they're like tipping. You tip at a restaurant, they're like, that's weird.
Tipping is like the weirdest stuff ever.
Yeah, and as a
Really
server,
weird.
like I understand tipping. I'm not like opposed to it. I actually think it's nice that the workers get the money, but like I can see why if like when you go to Europe and you don't tip, I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like I just go and I just pay for it and I leave. Like that's great.
Yeah.
Well, all the more reason for you to qualify for the Japan major that's been announced at the end of the year, and I'm sure that some of the Liquid guys would love that. I know one of the guys who used to work for Ubisoft, who now works for Team Liquid, is a guy named Stuart Ewan, a very, very good friend of mine. He came to Japan and he loved the Japan trip. So, I mean, I'm sure he would love it if you guys qualified because he would probably use this as an excuse to go back to Japan. So you're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for other people.
I'm playing for Stuart.
You're playing for Stuart, exactly. This is for Stuart Ewan. Nothing else. It's not about the major. It's not about the money. It's about a guy who works for Team Liquid who I don't even know if you've ever met him. So
I haven't.
So let's circle back to MIBR. So now you're playing for MIBR. Obviously, their foothold in Rainbow Six came through Immortals, and then obviously like the Immortals brand got collapsed into MIBR, which stands for Made in Brazil. And that I think, is it fair to say like MIBR is when you really started to like evolve as a player and grow, or do you think you did some of that on Team One before MIBR?
No, I think I started to evolve a lot on Team One on that COVID era because we were stuck in the gaming house all together, all playing Siege literally 24 hours a day because we haven't anything to do. We didn't have anything to do. So I evolved a lot on the team 1 days. But the MIBR is when I settled more. Like I was in a good organization. I was in a good team with more experience by then. And it's when I played my first Invitational, where I got the third place, and it was really great.
And remind me again, who did you lose to at that SI? For those that are, for the audio crowd that don't have the visual, he pointed to the Team Liquid logo on his jersey. So,
But I also won
again,
against them earlier on that tournament. I won
yeah.
against them. I sent them to the lower bracket, and then they got their revenge.
And then they beat you in the lower bracket.
Yeah.
Do you, we talk about this on the broadcast a lot when you beat a team once and then they always beat you the second time. Do you believe that? Do you think that there's like a curse or that a team always gets their revenge? Or do you think that's just, you think it's just silly stuff that we like to talk about for fun?
I think it's silly stuff. I think there's something on that. Maybe the mental, like
Mhm.
the team that won, maybe they're thinking they are better and they don't work as hard, and the team that lost, they want so much to win. Maybe there's something to that, but
Do you as an IGL like being the team that gets to have their revenge, or is that something, do you even think about that? Are you like, oh, we get to play them again and now we get to have our revenge, or do you, is that just noise in the background?
no, I don't really think about that, to be honest.
You're just locked in, you're dialed in, like it doesn't matter, it's just a match, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Do you ever find as an IGL that there are matches that are more important for, like, because it's a grudge match or because you have history with a team? Because every IGL we talk to is different. Some IGLs are like, I want to beat this team. I don't like this player. I don't like this org. You know, like if you're playing on FURIA and you're playing against the new W7M team, well, obviously W7M Fluxo now is the name of it, but it's like, is there ever a time where you're like, I want to beat my old org? Or like, has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I have a little bit of that because it's the ego. It's the ego talking. Like for example, when I play against Alemão, I always like to play against him, and I like to win against him. And he's my little son because he always lose against me. And also W7M, who were our organization. I like to win against them to show, to prove something, like for me, not for anyone, just for me.
Yeah.
And now we are going to play against Furia. They have herds. They are our old organization, and it's going to be really fun uh, for them and for us. And important. Then it's more important than other matches, of course.
Do you find it like motivating? Like, do you find it affects your mental? Like, if you lose to it, like if you're losing to Alamau, or if you're losing to, like, let's say you're losing to Fury in a match, does it bother you, or does it affect you more than other teams and other players?
If I lose, it's going to affect me more, but it's not something that like it's going to affect me in the match. Like I think
Right.
it motivates me. It motivates me to play the match, so I play even better, in my opinion, when I have these matches.
Yep.
But if I lose, I'm going to be devastated.
But you sound like you're the type of person who, when you go into a match, you level up based on like the storyline and the people you're playing against. But does it the opposite ever happen? And I mean, this is, I guess, kind of like a vulnerable moment where it's like, do you ever like go into a match like, oh shit, these guys are good? Or do you ever go into a match being like, I'm kind of nervous, I'm kind of worried? Has that ever happened for you?
Of course, it happened. It happens for everyone. And if a player tells you that never happened to him, he's lying, because we are playing a game of pressure. So everyone is going to be affected by it sometime, and we have to learn from that and get better. But for example, when I played against FaZe Clan in the last Six Invitational, the Boston one, not done this one, uh, we had lost against BDS in a really bad way because we threw so many rounds and we felt like we were better than them. And we had to play FaZe on the other day, and FaZe was just whooping everyone's ass, like in the lower bracket. And they were also like a team that was always beating us. So I was going to that match, like trying not to, but when I got there, I felt like I was not struggling mentally, like I wasn't totally focused on the match, and I was, I don't know, not in my best mental state.
I did want to ask about that. I mean, obviously, if we're keeping with the timeline, this is still to come. But you didn't end up. Correct me if I'm wrong. You didn't win a map against BDS nor FaZe, right? Those were both 2-0 losses.
Yeah.
What? And people were obviously very curious about what happened. What do you think happened in those two games?
Yeah, like I said, BDS, I really felt like we were playing better than them. And we played Bank. It was the first map, I think. And it was like 5-4 for us. And then we threw around like the most ugly round, the ugliest round ever in Siege history, maybe. Because it was like we were attacking on basement, Bank basement. And we had like a 5v2 situation. And we just had to plant and like take the covers. It was really easy. And then I don't know what we did, but Usus got a 3K on a C4. Like he even got a skin on that.
Yeah.
And it was like really, really ugly. And then after that, we kind of lost our mantle. And on the second map, we also had a lot of chances to win, and we didn't. So it was kind of devastating for us. And then, like I said, for the FaZe Clan match, we weren't there mentally. Like we just couldn't win against them.
Everybody was looking forward to that rematch because obviously that was the SI rematch from Sao Paulo, right? Like the year prior, you competed in what many consider to be the greatest match of Rainbow Six of all time. And then you obviously go up against them in the lower bracket finals. It's not a grand final, but there's still a lot of pressure there. Did you feel loading into that game against FaZe Clan? I think a lot of people are going to say, yeah, we're going to win. But did you load into that thinking like, shit, this is going to be a really tough match. We might lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I used as an example of when
Yeah.
I was struggling mentally, because I don't know, going to the lower bracket final, just after losing in the winners finals is really bad mentally, and the team that's going from the lower bracket is like way in a bigger momentum than you. So
Yeah.
not only that, but FaZe Clan was always winning against us in that whole year after the Six Invitational win.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it was hard.
What do you do as an IGL to fix your team's mental if your own mental is shot? Like if you're having a bad day, if your head is not in the game, how can you as an IGL make sure that your team's mental is good when you still need to work on your own mental? Is that, I mean, you mentioned it just happened. I don't know if it happens often, but what do you do?
You can't. First, you have to take care of your mental. Like
Yeah.
that's the first thing. That's like on airplanes, when you go to the airplane and the guy says like put your mask first on you and then on
Yeah.
the other. Like that's the thing. Like if you are struggling mentally as an IGL, like you can't help others. So that's something that I've worked on many times, many for a long time now. And to be like, if I'm playing bad individually, for example, like I can't let that take on my mental, because I have my team to guide. I have my
Yeah.
team to IGL. So my main focus is to always be mentally prepared, mentally good on a match, so I can help my team. If I lose my
I
mind, I can't help my team.
I hope you understand that airplane like metaphor of like putting your mask on before you put on somebody else's is simply one of the best metaphors I've heard from an IGL say on this show or any show. And I'd also like to let you know that I'm going to steal it on the broadcast and I'm going to use it in a match. I will give you credit, but I just want that is that. Did you
Yeah,
just
it's
come up
not
with that
mine.
on the,
No, no, no. I heard from somebody else's. I don't remember, but
I mean, we all steal from others
it's
and
a
then
good
we just
metaphor. Yeah,
it's great. It's really, really
yeah.
good. That's terrific. Okay, so let's go back. Oh, let's go back to MIBR because we still have we want to work. I want to work through this. So obviously, like Liquid and FaZe are your two big nemesis. You face them an awful lot, but again, you faced a lot of Brazilian teams again just because of Brazilian domination. So when I'm going through, I'm seeing like, oh, you know, he beat Los, he beat Raza Academy, he beat Loud, he beat all these different teams. So MIBR is going and going and going, and you're growing and growing and growing. The team makes these great runs, right? You finish third at SI, then the very next year you finish fourth at SI. Did you ever feel like, because as a caster, I will admit I struggled to place MIBR as a team like in our esport, right? Because like for Liquid, it's easy. It's Liquid. They've got Nask, they've got Palu. They're a huge organization. For FaZe, obviously, like they won the Yavla major, like they've got some legendary players on it. Nip, obviously, that, you know, making it to SI against SSG right before COVID hit. And then obviously they win the hammer at the very next SI that you played against them when at the Paris one when it was during COVID. So it's like, for me as a caster, I like to think of storylines. For a team like NiP, for a team like Liquid, for a team like FaZe, it's actually quite easy to talk about them. I struggled to talk about MIBR. Did you ever feel like when you were on that team that you were like living in the shadow of other Brazilian orgs? Did you think that?
Yes, we were like thinking today. I would say that MIBR was a team of what if, like it was a what if team, because we were a really good team. We had really good potential, and we could have gone better, but some things happened. And like my surgery, for example, in my shoulder,
Yeah.
like we went third on the Six Invitational, on our first Six Invitational. Like it was everyone's first Six Invitational, so it was a really good run. And then when we came back to Brazil, when we were prepared to maybe win against Liquid, win against FaZe, and take our spot, I had the surgery. So
Yeah.
it was a really like bad moment for us, and it was like a 3-month break. Like was a whole stage that I couldn't play, and that really took a toll on us. So it was a really bad moment. And then we kind of started grinding back, and then we got to the next invitation and got a fourth place, so a good result as well. But then we couldn't get off of that.
How did they talk about MIBR in Brazil? Because if I only, like, I don't obviously get to know a lot of what Brazil says, because I mean, up until up until very recently, even just like on Twitter, trying to translate like Brazilian Portuguese would be like, it wouldn't work. Like it didn't know what to do. It would try to translate it to regular Portuguese, and there would be issues and all that stuff. And I find, both as a caster but also as just a spectator of our esport, I find that it can be quite hard, if you don't speak Portuguese, to understand what is happening in Brazil. So I kind of rely on players and the casters in particular to be like these, hey, like, tell me what's going on, translate Brazil for me, like I need to know. So for you, at the time, how did the Brazilian region talk about your MIBR squad? Did they also see you as like, because in North America, it was like, oh, you've got the big dogs, even if they're not the best. Like MIBR is finishing like third and fourth at SIs back to back. You think that they would have that more respect, but the average North American fan and the average European fan, I feel like, didn't give you that respect. Did you get that respect in Brazil?
Yes, I think we were really respected. Everyone was thinking that we were like the third force at the time.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, we had great potential of becoming maybe the best team. But like I said, we couldn't get any better than that. Like we were a what if team. Like what if they won the invitational? What if they won that round against Kamikaze in the 7-7
Mm-hmm.
in the winter finals?
Yeah.
And when we got our moment, we couldn't get it for us. So yeah.
Does that motivate you? Do you see that and be like, we are better than these teams that everybody talks about? Like, I know that there are teams that it's like, we'll talk about certain European teams or we'll talk about certain North American teams based on the success they've had. And then up and coming teams will be like, well, we're better than them now. Why are you not talking about us? Does that motivate you to be better?
A lot. I remember at the time, like I was watching like pre-6 Invitational. Everyone was talking about the teams, and they weren't ranking us like high enough for me, and they were ranking like Navi at the time, like teams that I felt like weren't good, and were relying on like previous results, and
Mhm.
I wasn't agreeing with them, and I was eager to prove them wrong. You know.
It must be tough to balance, your desire to do well, but also like the spite, right? Like, if you have like a grudge match and you know that you go into a match and you're like, we need to win. As an IGL, I have to imagine that's hard to balance, because like you go into a match with your game plan, and some IGLs are like, it doesn't matter what team we're playing against, we're just going to play our match. But then there are other IGLs who go in who openly admit, like, yeah, I get more emotional. Of course I want to beat this team. And I mean, even you said that, like when you play up against your former org, or you play up against like Alamau. I will also say that there's a lot of people who feel that way about Carl when they play against him, and they really want to beat him. So I mean, that's something that you're not
That's normal.
alone. Yeah, you're not alone
Yeah.
on that. And to that point, by the way, I played in the King George content creator thing a couple days ago, And Carl Alimau actually agreed to come on this show and be the guest with you, and then got booked for scrims at the last minute, so he was not able to make it. I think it would have been a pretty interesting episode having both of you on, but I mean, I know your history with Carl, and I know that a lot of people in Brazil obviously have history with Carl / Alimau, so it would have been cool to have him on, but we will have to wait another day. I still would like to have you two on together at some point, which would mean that you need to come on. Cool. Yeah, but a bit unfortunate, but announced today. G2 picking up Shaiko, which was not really a secret. Everybody knew about that. Just very briefly, what are your thoughts on Shaiko joining G2?
I think they have a lot of aura now.
Aura
it's a team with most aura, yeah. It's a team with the most aura in the whole Siege scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, Shaiko is a really good player. Like, everyone knows it. Don't even have to say anything about him. And it's going to be really fun to watch them play. Because they have Stompen, they have Shaiko, they have like all the media guys, like the great media guys. Yeah. And they are also great players, so it's going to be fun to watch and fun to play against them as well.
And Loira comes home to Brazil.
Yeah, he's going to be my enemy now.
Yeah.
Him, Herds, Volps, they built a good team there. It's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, the new FURIA roster is it's nasty. And we'll talk about that too, because obviously you guys were a pretty good FURIA roster.
Yeah. Oh, my camera.
No, that's okay. All right. So with MIBR, how did you go from MIBR to W7M? Because there we go. How did you go from MIBR to W7M? Because W7M kind of just appears. If you didn't really follow Brazil, nobody really knew who any of these guys on W7M were, right? All of a sudden, you're hearing the name Herds for the first time. You're hearing the name JV92 for the first time. And this team has come out of nowhere, and they are basically revolutionizing how teams play defense in this game. And suddenly, their defender win rate goes bonkers. They had, I don't know if this is still the stat, but at one point in time, they had the highest defender win rate of like any team ever. And they're incredible. And they start to go through different iterations of the roster, and then suddenly you end up on that team with Nade. How does this happen? Walk us through this story. I know you've told the story before, but just for people who've never tuned in and are just watching here now, how did you end up on that W7M team after they lose SI in Montreal with Volps and Julio? You end up on the team with Nade. How does that happen?
Okay, so I finished fourth on the Six Invitational 2022. And then after that, I had a whole year with a MIBR of not qualifying to majors. So it was a really bad year. It was my worst year as a pro, as a Siege pro, by far. And I wasn't happy with that. And I felt like the team was not going anywhere anymore. And by the end of the year, when my contract was ending, I wanted to explore some new teams, explore some new possibilities. And I was I almost joined M80 at the time. Like, it was December, and I was talking with Bodega and Vivas. Bodega, my previous coach, so I knew him, and I almost joined them. But then Igor talked to me, and he invited me to come to W7M. He talked me. He told me that they were making roster changes with Julio and Volps, and he wanted to know more about me, and he wanted me to go there with Nate. And after I got the invitation, I wanted to join. I left M80 behind because I thought it was a better team than M80, and it was the right decision. Now I'm looking at it, and it was the right decision.
And it was a right decision because within 3 months of joining the team, you win the Copenhagen Major, defeating Team Liquid. Probably, would you say that was the biggest victory over Liquid in your career at that point?
Yeah, 3-0 in a grand final. So
the very first Blast Major ever in Copenhagen, in Denmark. You win. We go to Atlanta. Well, kind of Atlanta. We were like an hour and a half outside of Atlanta, but it's still Atlanta, I guess. And you win that one as well. You beat Los. You beat another Brazilian team in the finals. And then we get to SI 2024. So obviously people who watch this esport know what happened at SI 2024. It is easily, if you want to argue that it's maybe not the best SI, whatever, I don't really care. I don't think there's any argument that it is at minimum a top 2 SI. Whether you think it's better than EG Penta, whether you think EG and Penta is worse, I'm not going to get into an argument here. I think there are very good arguments for both. And I honestly think that based on that 5th map, you can make a very good argument that, especially with the storyline of Nate and Handy, and then obviously the whole team and the calendar year that you just had on this W7M roster, you can make a...
And the comeback in the last map.
And the last map
6-1.
comeback is insane. Like, you know, I remember sitting in the stands, I lost my voice. I wasn't even casting that match and I lost my voice because I was like, there's no way this comeback is happening. And then we get to overtime and it's just like, holy shit, this is going to happen. But what did you experience joining this W7M team? So you go from MIBR, where you were the IGL of MIBR, right?
No, it was Reduct.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Who is now Reduct?
Who is now the coach of FURIA.
That's right.
He was the coach of Team Liquid.
Yeah, he was on Liquid, and then he subbed in very briefly because I think Lenda got moved off. Yeah. And then the other Liquid coach is now over with Shopify Rebellion. Tyces, is that how he pronounce?
Yeah. Tyces in Portuguese.
My pronunciation of Brazilian names is brutal. I will also say, and this is just some accountability on my point, I always just default to calling you FelipoX, even though your name is Felipe and it's pronounced FelipoX. So I need to keep remembering that. And kudos to Fresh. Fresh always says your name correctly, and I just need to listen to Fresh more.
Well, you're saying correctly. Don't worry. FelipoX. Okay.
I feel good. I want to make sure that people's names are being pronounced correctly. So you go to this W7M team. How is your first month there? Because you literally joined the team and 3 months later you win a major. Yeah. How was your entry to that team? Was there growing pains? Did you have to learn and grow yourself? Did you change roles? What was it like?
It was everything. Everything was perfect. Like I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to have a lot of struggles, to play with different guys because I was playing with the same team for so long, and I don't know, everything was just perfect. Everyone was playing really good, and they were amazing players. Like I was living a dream there, and I wasn't an IGL in the MIBR, like I said. And when I joined, I couldn't be the IGL because I didn't know anything about the team. I had to learn first. And Hertz was the IGL when I joined for the first month. And we played the whole stage, the whole Brazilian stage, with him as an IGL. We qualified with him as an IGL. And then after that, we had the semifinals of the Brazilian League against FaZe Clan. And he went 0-10 in the last map. Hertz went 0-10 in the last map. And because it's so hard to play an entry being an IGL, and he couldn't handle that. So I remember after that match, I was driving to a McDonald's with Abreu, going to the drive-thru, and I remember talking to him like, I feel like I'm ready to take on the IGL role right now because now I understand how we play, how the team is playing, and I feel like I can take that responsibility. And then that's it. Then I became the IGL. Hertz was relieved that he could just focus on his gameplay. And my first tournament was the Copenhagen Major as an IGL, and we won. So
not bad. 1-1.
Not bad.
And then you go 2-2, and then you go 3-3, and you just keep this run going. Were there? I know you said it was perfect, and I know that obviously Herd's obviously switching off of IGL and you taking IGL could possibly be a problem. But there surely were some things that needed to be worked on with this W7M roster, right? Like it wasn't 100% perfect, right? Or was it?
Yeah, of course there were things, but like for example, the communication was not so good at the beginning because of Hertz being the IGL. Like he couldn't focus on his gameplay, and I was a really vocal player. I wasn't an IGL, but I was always a shot caller. And in the beginning, I couldn't help the team because I was focusing on myself so much, on understanding the game, on understanding how we play the game, and understanding my role on the team. So in the beginning, we had a few of communication problems mainly, but it was really good. Like it was way better than I expected in the beginning.
When you credited the some of the staff on MIBR and Team One, how much of a hand did you have in doing strats and prep work for W7M when you took over as IGL?
A lot. Like I always were a player that was really I always liked to do strats. We said before, I even tried to be a coach on Black Dragons. So I always liked this part of the game, the strat part. So even on MIBR, I used to do a lot of strats, and when I got to W7M, it was natural that I just kept on doing that, and yeah.
Did you mesh well immediately with the coaching staff on W7M? Like, did you immediately get along well with them and find a good working relationship?
Yeah, they made me feel at we have the gaming house, so that makes things better because we live with each other. So we had a really good relationship in the beginning, and they made me feel at home. So they made me feel listened. They made me feel safe, like to say stuff and maybe say some dumb stuff, and not be regretting that, like not be afraid of telling that, saying that. So it was really good.
What did you find in the gaming house? Because you were a younger guy. You're still a younger guy, right? You're playing with a lot of younger guys. You even mentioned like, nobody like JV92 is kind of crazy, but like in a good way, not in a bad way. What was it like being in a team house? Was that a big departure and a different experience from all you'd grown up with? And I guess the other question is, had you ever lived like on your own before, or was this all just new for you?
When I turned 18, I went to Team One. I lived in the countryside of Brazil. I'm from the countryside of Brazil.
Yeah.
So I went to São Paulo with 18 years old to a gaming house. So to live with 6 other guys from all over Brazil, and that I haven't met in person. And so it was a really different experience for me since the beginning. So by the time I went to W7M, I was already used to that, you know.
This message is sponsored by Raycon. As we head into spring, I've been craving fewer distractions and more focus throughout my day, whether I'm working, commuting, or just taking a moment for myself at the grocery store or any other errands that I might have to run. I've been using Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classics, and they've become my go-to for daily listening. I'm a big music guy. I've got music on all the time. I want to rack up those numbers on my various listening applications. So going out in the wild with a nice pair of headphones, pretty high on my list. The active noise cancellation that comes with these pair of the Everyday Earbuds Classics are excellent at blocking out background noise so that I can stay locked in whether I'm listening to music, catching up on podcasts like this one if I want to listen to our stuff back, or taking calls from family and friends should they call me when I'm outside of the house. Everything sounds clear and immersive, which makes it easier to stay present and focused with whatever I'm doing. Plus, I get music with me wherever I go, and that's a really nice feature. Right now, you can get them for 20% off. So head on over to Raycon. We've also got a discount code. You can use DBNO as your discount code so that you can save some money on some Raycon products. I just want to say thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring our show. What was the biggest adjustment for you moving in with other people? Like, I mean, I remember when I moved out on my own for the first time. It's kind of scary. It's, you don't have your parents there. Like, you don't have that support network. Like, did you find it exciting? Were there any concerns? Like, did you enjoy it? Did you hate it?
In the beginning, it was really hard for me because I am from the countryside of Brazil. So I was moving to São Paulo, which is a big city,
Yeah.
and I was moving with like living with 7 other guys from all over Brazil, and that I haven't met in person. So it was a really different experience for me as a 18-year-old. So in the beginning, it was really hard. Like I really missed my parents. I really missed my home and my friends from back home. But then I got used to it, and I knew that I was kind of making a sacrifice for my dream. Like my dream was to play the game. My dream was to win a tournament, and I was doing everything that I had to do for that. And also, like my team was, I've always been good friends with my team. So it wasn't like I was living with some guys that I didn't like. I was living with guys that are my friends. So it was a cool experience.
Did you enjoy living in the city? I don't know if you still live in Sao Paulo or not. I mean, Sao Paulo is massive. I don't think people realize how many people live in Sao Paulo. And like whenever we've stayed there, you get to like the top of the hotel and you look out and you just see like an endless wave of apartment buildings. Like it's crazy. Like
It's
there's
22 million
yeah,
people.
like
It's a lot of people.
I think if memory serves correctly, it's the largest city outside of Asia, or the largest city in the Western Hemisphere. I can't remember, but it had some big distinction. And it was like, I remember when I went there for the first time, I was overwhelmed. And I live
Yeah,
in a
it's
big
really
city.
big.
Like Toronto's 3 million people in the city, 10 million people around it. Like it's big. I was not prepared for how big Sao Paulo is. Did you like living in the city? Do you still live in Sao Paulo?
I still live in São Paulo. Now I live on my own, like
Yeah.
not with other people, like literally on my own. And I like living here now. In the beginning, I didn't like because it's way different living in a small town and then moving to a big city like this. Like you take a lot of time in traffic. That's the worst thing. To this day I don't like that. But also you have the pros. Like you have the everything. You have everything here. Like if I want to go to a burger place 3 a.m. in the night, it's open. If I want to go to a party, there is a party. There is everything here. So it's cool.
You have conveniences, right? Like
Yeah.
you've got transit. Like I know Sao Paulo has a transit network too. I've taken public transit in Sao Paulo, like, and the one thing I liked about it was that while it's a giant city, I found wherever I've stayed in Sao Paulo, and I've been to Sao Paulo twice now, both in very different parts. I think the second time we were in the financial district, right? For kind of like the
We are
most
in the
recent.
financial. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like,
Behini.
but everything was kind of walkable. Like I liked that you could walk to a cafe, you could walk to a restaurant, you could walk to a convenience store. Like it was all super close by. And I mean, like obviously for people who grow up and want like quiet, you're probably not going to find quiet in Sao Paulo or any big
No.
city. But if you like the nightlife, if you like, being able to go to live music and a different restaurant every single night, like you're going to get that in a big city. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, it obviously would be a big learning curve, but hopefully you had a good support network there with you. So for W7M, you joined this team, you immediately win Copenhagen, then you win Atlanta. You did okay at EWC, or I think it might have been called Gamers 8 at the time. I can't remember what it was officially called at that point in time.
Was Gamers 8, I think.
I think you finished third or fourth. You finished in like
Yeah.
your runners up, and then you win Atlanta. For that year, you end the year winning the two major events. You said that when you joined in Copenhagen, it was perfect. Was there any problems from Copenhagen to Atlanta? Were there any things that you needed to deal with? It could be team issues, could be personal issues, could be the meta changing. Like, was there any adversity that you had to fight that first year before? This is before SI. This is before the phase SI, the time you played phase in Brazil at SI.
We had problems going to the Gamers 8 at the time after the Copenhagen Major because we won the Copenhagen Major and we kind of get a little lazy because we won our first major and it's kind of normal. And so we went to the Gamers 8 not as prepared as we could, and we saw that and we started to try hard a lot, like to work a lot to improve for the Atlanta Major. So in the Atlanta Major, we were playing really well. Like the meta, we understood the meta really really well, and it was a perfect tournament for us. And I will also talk about the SI if that's cool.
Yeah, of
To
course.
change
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
timeline, because going to the SI, that's where the problem is started to hit. Like we weren't that good in SI. We won the SI, but we weren't a good a good team that we were in Copenhagen as in Atlanta, and it was kind of a miracle that we won SI. Like even the way that it was like 6-1 in the last map, like we weren't the better team at the time. I think FaZe was playing better than us, but we won because we were like, I don't know. In Brazil, we use the word raça. It's like when we have grit, like
Yeah.
some, So we wanted so bad to win that, and we had the supporters in our side, like the crowd and stuff like that, and we won, but we weren't the better team there, I think.
You know what I really appreciate about you, just as a person, when I've interviewed IGLs and teams before, and I say, blah blah best team, every team just they say the same shit. They're always just like, we're the best. Like I remember I sat down at the Stockholm SI when you were in MIBR when you finished fourth. I sat down ahead of time. I might have even talked to you. I interviewed every single team. I honestly can't remember everybody I interviewed. I might have interviewed you from MIBR. I can't remember. But I remember I sat down with Troy, and I mean, Troy and I are good friends. You know, like we hang out in person. We don't live too far. Like obviously, we started the show with 6on6 together. Like, and I sat down with him, and I was asking everybody kind of the same questions. And I was like, you know, which team do you think is gonna, if it's not your team, which team do you think is gonna win SI? And Troy pissed me off. He's like, well, I can't think about that. We're gonna win. And I'm like, okay, but for like a second, imagine you don't win. What team do you want to win, and which team do you think will win? And he was just like, I can't. It's gonna be us. Like we're gonna win. Like, I'm like, just give me a human answer. And the one thing I like about you is that you can confidently say like, we were not the best team, or you can say like, FaZe deserved to win that. Like a lot of IGLs just simply cannot do that, and a lot of people with egos cannot do that. A lot of people with egos are like, no, we were the best. You know, we should have won.
Yeah.
But I like that you can be honest, and I think that that's a
Thank you.
great. I think it's a great trait of a leader. I genuinely do.
Yeah, like I'm just being honest because like in Copenhagen Major, I can like confidently tell you that we were the best team there.
Yeah.
In Atlanta Major, we were the best team there. Like in the Six Invitational, I don't think we were the best team there. Like I think FaZe were playing better Siege than us, but I want to also say that they deserved to win. Like they didn't deserve to
Yeah.
win. We won, but they were playing better Siege than us. That's just it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like deserve is a word that gets used a lot when people are like, oh, you know, this like EG, for example, like go back to that old EG squad, or go back to Virtus Pro too. And like prior to them winning, like a lot of people were like, oh, they're really good. They deserve to win. They deserve to win something. They said that about the old Liquid roster, like with Nesk and Palu. They're like, oh, they've been so good for so long. They deserve to win. I don't know about you, but I don't think that exists. I don't think you deserve
I agree.
anything. I think you earn it. And if you want to win a
Exactly.
championship, you fucking earn it. And you don't deserve it. You got to earn it.
I agree.
Yeah. So, SI 2024. You have some problems after Gamers 8. It seems like you fixed them for Atlanta. But then you said you weren't the best team for SI 2024. How do you go from being the best team in Atlanta to 4 months later, FaZe Clan surpasses you? And you said that FaZe Clan were the best team at SI, but obviously they didn't win. But what changed? What changed in those 4 months to put FaZe ahead of you after your run in Atlanta?
First of all, it wasn't like we started playing bad. Like we were also a good team. We just weren't the best there. And I think the reason of why that happened is because of, like I said in the Copenhagen Major, we got a little bit lazy because we won 2 majors back to back, and then we got the ego and all that stuff that we know that we shouldn't do that. We knew at the time, but it's hard not to.
Yeah.
So we had that, and we started to get a little bit lazy and to not do the things that made us good. So we wouldn't do the things that made us good again. So we wouldn't try hard as much. We wouldn't go late nights watching VODs and stuff like that. And that's why I think we fell off a little bit.
I don't know if you know the word in English, but it's complacent, where you kind of just like you get to the point where you're so good you can just rely on being good and you don't put in the same work. Right? Like you get complacent. You just like it, you say lazy, like, but when you're complacent, it's like we're good, we don't need to try hard, just showing up is enough.
That's the
you
word then.
Yeah,
Complacent.
but then you've got those other teams where it's like we know we're the best, but in order to be the best, we have to keep trying. And
Yeah.
you are not alone in saying that you guys, you know, got what is called like a championship hangover. Like look at DZ. DZ won the Charlotte Major, and then like there were 2 players on the team that now will, you know, kind of quietly tell you like, oh, I won. Like, you know, I didn't have that same motivation. And it's like when you win, you're like, I'm the best. Look at me. I'm so great.
Yeah.
But the problem is that depending on the event, you've got anywhere from 15 to 19 other teams that are now wanting to knock you down. And they're going to be working really damn hard to do that. If you don't have that same motivation, in like with how close a lot of these teams are in skill, you think it's fair to say that like even the smallest bit of effort can make a huge difference.
Of course. There's a small gap between the top teams. A
Yeah.
really small gap.
So you get into Sao Paulo. You're playing in now what is where you live. You're playing in front of, or at least wanting to play in front of a home crowd. I think it's the biggest crowd we've ever had in Siege. It certainly was the loudest. Again, I'm going to go back to the human side of this. A lot of players will privately tell you that winning in front of their home audience is like a dream. was that something that going into the event, you haven't even played a match yet at SI 2024? Are you thinking to yourself, like, yes, we're obviously the best, but like, how amazing would it be to win in my home country in front of my family? I'm assuming your family was there. I don't know if you, yeah, they were.
Yeah.
How, you haven't even played a match. Is there more to it than that? Is it like SI is obviously the biggest event. Everybody wants to win it. You want to win it. But is there more to it because it's in Brazil, or does
Of
that
course.
not matter as much?
Of course there is. Like we went to the invitational knowing that we had to go to the playoffs. We had to qualify to the playoffs because our families would be there, our friends would be there, our fans would be there, and it would be maybe our only chance of playing in front of them. We don't know the calendar and stuff like that. So it was way more important for us than other tournaments, than other Six Invitational. And I remember playing against SSG to qualify for the playoffs. It was the like we were playing the hotel at the time, and it was the match to qualify for the stage. And we were so like we weren't there mentally in that match. Like we were just thinking that we have to qualify, I had to qualify, and then it kind of got to us. Like it started to make us play bad in a way, but in the end, we won, so all good. But it was kind of hard to deal with that.
Would you say that as much as it motivates you, it also adds a lot of pressure and stress?
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
How do you as an IGL try to fix that? Because you're probably feeling pressure too, right? Like as an IGL, you need to be the leader of the team. Like you said, if my mental is not good, how can I help the mental of the team? But like you're also somebody who wants to play in front of their family. You're also a human with emotions and feelings. Like you know, like as a caster, I feel cool casting an event in Canada. I can't imagine how much better that is as a competitor playing in front of your home crowd and your parents. Like that's legendary stuff. How do you as an IGL load into a game when you've got those nerves and you need to settle yourself down because there's a job for you to do? You need to settle down your team too. How do you do that?
I think the main thing is not giving up because I wasn't there mentally as well. Like I wasn't in my best shape mentally, but I was trying all the time. Like I didn't give up, and that's the main thing. Like I had bad rounds, I had bad calls in the game, but if I gave up, we wouldn't be there. So I didn't give up. I kept calling, I kept trying stuff, I kept saying, "Let's go, guys! Let's win this! Let's believe." So that's the main thing. You have to believe. You have to not give up, and yeah.
Do you use anything if you ever find yourself getting like nervous or anxious or worried? Do you have like coping mechanisms? Do you have things like certain like TV shows or certain music or anything like that that you can use to kind of calm yourself down and bring yourself back to normal? Do you have anything like that?
In the match, I do. I have a breathing technique that our psychologists uh, taught us in a long time ago in W7M, and it's just breathing like 3 seconds in and 5 seconds out, and so you can focus on the moment, because sometimes you are just so accelerated with so much adrenaline, and you just have to breathe and just like focus on the moment, focus on what you're going to do next, and I like to do that when I'm feeling anxious in the match.
Almost like meditation.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of.
And you find it helps.
A lot. It helps a lot.
I think when we have people like you on the show, I think one of the great benefits is there might be people watching who will one day IGL a team. And I mean, I've heard from players now who are competing. Like there are guys who are like 18, 19 years old that are just starting now to find their footing professionally. And they've openly said, like, we love watching 6-on-6. Like I learn a lot from Troy. Like I learn a lot from your guests, etc. So it's like, if you have any other advice for up and coming IGLs as to how they can, untilt themselves, because it happens a lot. If you have any other advice, like sound off. Like I would love to hear what other advice you'd have.
I think the main advice is not don't push yourself too much. Don't like I don't know the word like don't take things too seriously, like
Yep.
don't because like for myself as an example, like when I did something wrong back in the day, I used to like hurt myself with that. Like I used to think about that a long time, and I weren't thinking about the next round, about the next thing, the next map maybe. So
Yeah.
nowadays, when I do something wrong, I know it's wrong. I just I don't let myself to be in that thought. Like I just send it away and just think on the next round, think on the next map, think what I'm going to do. So mentally, I think that's the main advice. Just think in the next round, think about the next stuff. Don't take things too seriously, you know.
You can always be angry about something that happened when the match is done. There's
Yeah,
no point. There's no point in bogging yourself down with it. And I mean, I think if you're looking for words, like you don't want to dwell on something, you don't want to get stuck on something. You want to.
yeah,
It sucks. Yes, that round is brutal, but why? We already lost that round because of it. Why should we lose future rounds because of it? Like we lost. Like let's say we had a bad round 3. Okay, great. Let's move on. We'll talk about round 3 after the match. Let's not sink round 4 and round 5 because of what happened in round 3. Right?
exactly.
Okay. And I mean, I do think that is a great way to look at it. But I also think that that's one of those things that's really easier said than done. Some people are able to move on, and I mean, even in less stressful environments, I know lots of people who just can't let things go.
But I
So
think everything is practice. Like
yeah,
you have to practice that. Even in scrims, in a scrim day, you have to. You're going to feel frustrated sometime, and
mhm.
you it's the moment for you to practice. Like you're going to feel frustrated. Don't dwell on that thought, like you said. Don't dwell on it. Don't get stuck on it. So just move on. And if you practice enough, you're going to get better on that. And everything is practice.
Yeah, I mean, this also goes back to the point you said about when you play teams that you don't know. Like, if you're playing Daystar for the first time, like you're gonna have to make adjustments because you're not used to it. If you're
Yeah,
suddenly finding yourself getting angry as an IGL and you've never been there before, now suddenly you have to deal with something you didn't expect, right? There's always these little variables that are in matches that ultimately what makes people so good at being IGLs is how they handle things they've never experienced before.
yeah,
So I think, and to your point, I think this is another good reminder. Every team takes scrims differently. Some teams approach scrims because they want to work on mechanical stuff. Some want to do it from a strategy. Some people want to do scrims to learn their opponents. Sometimes they want to work through new role changes. But I think what you hit on is something that gets forgotten a lot, which is that if you're an IGL or if you're a leader on a team, you can use scrims to handle your own job better, right?
yeah.
Like it's not just about strategies and not just about gunplay. It's also about leadership. And if you're in a scrim and your teammates are yelling at each other or you're getting frustrated as an IGL, use that scrim to fix that.
Of course, it's a moment for that.
How often do you guys scrim? Like and when you scrim, do you go into those scrims with certain things in mind? Is every scrim the same, or do you just do like we're gonna do scrims today and we're only just gonna try to play like bank or something like that?
We scrim from Monday to Friday, so every weekday, and we do like 6 maps a day of scrims against 3 different teams. So it's like two, 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 and then we have strats before the scrims, so 1 hour of strats, and then after the scrims we do a VOD review. So it's a long day of work, and we do that every day. And you ask about if we go with something like prepared or something to scream on that day. Yes, we do. Like Igor, our coach, always have stuff prepared for us. Like today, we're going to scream bank, for example, and we're going to practice that open area execute that you're not doing well. We're going to focus on that. So there's always stuff like that happening.
Does Igor do all that by himself, or do you help with that? Does the rest of the coaching staff help with that?
I help with that, and the rest of the coaching staff help as well.
Do you ever find the other 4 players? Do they ever chime in with things, or is it mostly just
Of
you?
course,
Yeah.
I think nowadays you have all players have to help like with everything. Uh, you have the coach. He's the guy who is going to tell what you're going to do, but giving him ideas is always welcome. So, uh, 8 heads think way better than 1 head. So, yeah,
Unfortunately, you will find the odd team where the one head thinks they are better than all the others combined, and that becomes a problem, right? Where one guy thinks that he knows best and doesn't want feedback or
That's bad.
input. Yeah.
Of course, the final decision is always Igor's. Like sometimes we aren't going to agree on everything. It's
Yeah.
normal. But the final decision is his decision. But to have ideas from everyone is always welcome.
We can keep talking about your timeline, but I think this is a good time to ask about Igor because I find one of the biggest disconnects between like all sports, but it also obviously matters to esports, is what a coach does. And I think in esports, especially Rainbow Six, there are a lot of coaches who don't seem to do a lot. Igor has been widely praised by every region, and he is consistently called the best coach in esports. You know, call out, obviously, his name is mentioned a lot. But for a guy like Igor, he's won everything, he's done it all. He keeps him, he's pretty low key, like he doesn't really make it about himself. I'll give you the floor right now, and I just want you to walk us through what makes Igor so good.
He's just the hardest working guy I've ever met. I think that's the main thing for him. He's always trying to improve. He's always pushing us to improve. Like he doesn't let us get in the comfort zone. Uh, and that's Igor. Like he's a hardworking guy.
What do you want out of a coach? Like to be the best IGL possible. I feel like obviously I've never competed, but I have to imagine that an IGL and a coach need a strong working relationship. You know, what do you want out of your coach to make you a better IGL, and what do you want to help a coach with? Because I'm sure you help them as well.
Mm-hmm. I want to feel heard. So if I had ideas, for example, I want for him to discuss with me, to show his points of what maybe what's not good about that or what's good. So I want to feel heard. I want to be pushed to my limit. So sometimes I don't want to do things like because of that's that's human nature. Sometimes you just want to be in your comfort zone, and so I want my coach to push me to be better, to improve, to keep working, and I think Igor does that. And for me to help him, I have to feed him ideas. I have to also push him because sometimes he's also a human, so sometimes he's going to be in the comfort zone, and yeah, I think it's a relationship that both sides have to give each other.
He seems like a pretty soft-spoken guy. He never really seems to yell or get upset. Do you think that's an
Igor,
accurate? I mean,
is you talking about the right guy?
yeah, I mean, but like, look, I mean, we don't see the same thing that you do. But I will say, when I hear a lot of his timeouts and I see him, he never seems to be like mad or angry like some other coaches are. Is it he gets mad?
Yeah, a lot. You have to watch the timeouts again.
I
that
mean,
that's
I
that's
see
his
guys
way
like
of
Fabian screaming at people, and it's like I don't really hear that from Igor. Maybe I'm
no,
crazy.
but Fabian's level is like he's on another level
Right.
of being mad. But Igor
True.
gets mad a lot. He gets angry a lot with us, mainly with JV, because JV like I said, JV is a special guy. You have to treat him differently from other ones. Like if you talk to him like a normal person, like JV, you done that wrong. Like you have to do better. He's not going to listen to you. You have to yell at him. You have to curse him. Like he responds to to
He responds to
shock.
violence and anger.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes in the timeouts you see Igor yelling and getting really angry, and mainly with JV, but also with the rest of us. And sometimes it's good because it's like a wake up call for us. Like sometimes you're kind of sleepy, or not doing the fundamentals well. So out of nowhere, our coach asked a timeout and started yelling at us. So it's good. It's a wake up call.
And I mean, as an IGL, you have to adapt your calls, and a coach as well needs to adapt their feedback based on the team, right? Because if you're just always yelling, it's going to eventually just become boring, right? Like if you're getting yelled at all the time, it's like, oh, they're mad again. Wow. But
Yeah,
if you've got a coach, I have to imagine that isn't usually somebody who yells, and they yell at you, it's like a whoa, like where is that
exactly.
coming from?
Yeah. Like you have to balance as a coach. You have to balance that. Like sometimes you don't need a timeout, a yelling timeout. You just need to talk with your IGL. Like let's do this on the other in the next round. And if they do that, we do that and stuff like that. Like talking strats, and sometimes you have to like not talk stress, only talk mental stuff and yell, and you have to know what the situation asks.
I wanted to ask about timeouts for a second here because I don't know if you saw, I got posted on the subreddit that now there is a timeout between halves.
I saw
So
that.
yeah, so I want you to just kind of answer this question as in depth or as simple as you want. I know that there are teams that like to take their timeouts in between the second and third round of each half, right? Usually it's before the second the second wave of bans come in for the operators, or the last ban for the operators come in. Do you ever take those timeouts and use them to focus on the second half? And if so, do you think that this new timeout at halftime is going to change the way that teams take timeouts in the first half?
Yes, we did that, and with the new timeouts, I think it's going to change a lot because it's a 2 minute timeout. It's like the double what we had,
Yeah.
even more than double because it was 45 seconds, I think. So it's a long time, and I think it's going to give the coaches more freedom and more. They're going to impact the game more, like than they used to do, and they're going to impact a lot of in the second half because they're going to talk in the second half. So I think the timeouts, the other timeouts we are still going to have, are going to be used more maybe sooner in the game than we used to, and it's going to be better, I think.
Yeah. I mean, why call a timeout in rounds 4 or 5 when you know there's a timeout coming a round later, right?
Yeah. So maybe a
I'm,
2-0, you already asked a timeout now.
yeah.
Maybe it will happen more.
Yeah. Or we just see that maybe some teams don't call as many timeouts in the first half and they use them for the second half exclusively. If, you know,
Yeah.
if it's if it's a 2-2 through 4 rounds, like, are you going to call your timeout or do you just save it for the second half knowing that you had a timeout at halftime? So I think it's good. I mean, I wouldn't mind there being a time. I wouldn't mind a 30-second timeout for both teams in both halves, but I mean, I ultimately don't make those rules. And also, you don't really want to have too many timeouts because then I feel like you take some of the importance of a strong IGL away if you have the coach doing a lot of the work. I
I
don't I
agree.
don't I don't know if you oh okay, you do. I was going to say I don't know if you agree. I don't know if you want I don't know if you'd want Igor talking more or if you're, like because you're the leader on your team, like you get more time to be that leader. Like I'm not sure where you come down on that.
Yeah, like I said, I think the coach is going to impact more the game, and I don't think it's going to like take the IGL's work from the game like away. I think it's going to be the kind of the same, just with a little help of the coach. I think it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be balanced.
So, SI 2024 happens. I want to talk about that fifth map because everybody wants to talk about that fifth map. I want to talk about you're down, your backs are against the wall. It looks like FaZe is about to crush you on map 5. And then I think it's the best comeback in this game has ever seen. Do you get credit for that? What started that comeback? How did you manage to start it? Because that I feel like is the hardest, right? Is like finding your footing. What happened?
It was really hard because I remember it was 6-1, and like we lost the first attack, and I remember saying for the team like, "Hey guys, don't stop believing. Let's do this." But I was saying that I wasn't believing what I was saying. Like in my head, internally, I was thinking that it was over, and I was just saying that because I had to say that. And then we made the first round 6-2. I said that again, but not believing it. Then 6-3, I said it again, and I started to believe in it. And then 6-4, like when we were 6-4, like I remember something clicked on my head, and I really started to believe in it. Like I was sure that we were going to make a comeback. I was sure that we were winning the grand finals because it was like an energy and vibe from the crowd. Like the crowd was getting louder and louder and louder, and we felt that they were like getting, I don't know, they were getting bad at the game. Like they were losing gunfights that they were not losing anymore before. So I don't know. It was really magical that moment.
Do you think, as an IGL and as an expert at the game, do you think it was pressure that ultimately undid FaZe? Do you think they got too far in their own heads that it was like, hey, like you even said this, like when you were playing SSG, you felt pressure just to get onto main stage. Do you think FaZe was, battling that same pressure and thinking like, we're only 3 minutes away from lifting the hammer? Like, that's crazy. Like, Do you think that's what it was, or do you think there was something more to it?
I think so. I think they were, like I said before, they were playing better Siege than us. They were playing better that map than us, Night Heaven Labs. And round by round, we started to get more confident, and they started to feel the pressure. Like, and then there was a moment that maybe they crumbled, they couldn't get over it, and we thrived.
Well, what about you? Did you start to feel pressure when you believed in the comeback? Like, surely, like you're pulling off this incredible upset. You manage to tie the game. You go to overtime. Surely you're feeling pressure now. No.
No, like I said to you on 6-4, like I don't know, something happened. The energy, like I was sure that we were going to win. Like I'm telling you, I swear to you, like I was sure that we were going to win. Like there wasn't a doubt in my head that we were going to win.
How loud was the crowd in your headset? Because a lot of people want
Really
to
loud,
know. Really loud?
really loud. Like normally we can't hear anything. We just hear like the uh we don't hear it, but we feel it. We feel it, like
Like
when
the
the crowd
explosions
is.
and stuff in game, right?
Yeah,
Like a
exactly.
grenade or a
But
breach goes
then
off. Yeah.
when we were 6-3 or 6-4, we started to hear it. It was so loud that we started to hear it. Like they were screaming "Eu acredito," which is I believe in it. They were screaming "I believe in it," and we started to hear that. So yeah,
I mean, that's got to be an insane thing to hear and feel.
it was amazing.
Like, is that if you retired today, is that the memory that you take with you the most? Is that the most memorable
Of
moment of
course,
your? Yeah.
of course, it was the best moment of my career.
What were the feelings like when you get into that final round? You're now on match point. You have pulled off the comeback at this point, but it's not done yet. You are sitting there. Now you are 3 minutes away. You are about to cement yourselves as a dynasty. You are about to pull off this incredible comeback. You're doing it on home soil. Your parents, your mom, who doubted you 5 years ago, is now in the audience about to watch you win over $1 million, lift a hammer, cement your legacy. And you're saying there's no pressure at all. You're
No,
just, you just, it feels like
I was
fate.
just trying to keep the composure to win the round, but I was sure that we were going to win the round, and we did.
What did you, when did it hit you? Did it hit you in the match? Did it hit you an hour after you won? Did it hit you a week later? When did it finally like hit you like, holy shit, we did this?
I don't know, maybe a week later. It was like a week living a dream.
I I mean, I obviously, and a lot of people who don't play this game and have never played sports don't really know what it's like to feel like that, but it must be, that's got to be like a I'm on top of the world
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
And
10K people watching, like our family, our friends, our fans, and
yeah,
doing as we did, like the comeback was insane. Was
yeah.
insane.
Have you ever gone back and rewatched it?
Of course, a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Yeah.
And I get anxious. Like I know the I know the result, and I get anxious watching.
It's like 6-1 and you're like, "Oh, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't." It's
Yeah.
tough. What was it like? Did you talk to FaZe Clan after the match? Did you just kind of seal yourselves away with your own team? Because I'm curious. I mean, the Brazilian teams are very, very close. And it's like, when a Brazilian team gets knocked out, a lot of the other Brazilian teams tend to like support who's left. I would argue you are the closest region. Like Brazil loves Brazil more than EU loves EU, more than NA loves NA. Did you talk to FaZe Clan after the match?
I
Did you
didn't
spend
talk
time
to
with
them
them?
right after. Like I just complimented them, like GGs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nate did with Handy because, of course, they are twin brothers, and he talked with him a lot. But I wasn't so close with them at the time. Now I'm really close with Vita King. He's a really a good friend of mine. But at the time I wasn't, so I didn't really talk to them. And I knew that they were devastated to lose like that, to lose in the home soil, losing a 6-1. Like we were in the top of the world, they were like in hell.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for them, and I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. Of course, nowadays we talk about that, and but now they won 2 invitations, so they're good.
Yeah. I mean, I also think like every team when they win will always say like, wow, that our opponents were so good, like credit to them, blah blah. I mean, I must imagine that when you are sitting there with the sting of defeat, none of that shit matters. Like, you don't care what your opponent, like, wow, my opponents
Yeah,
thought I were good. That's so great. Like, all that's going through the head of FaZe Clan has to be like, we were 3 minutes away from being world champions 5 times. Like, we had so many opportunities to close this out and we couldn't do it. And then it's almost like insincere. It's like, just shut up. I don't care what you think about us. Like, let me just be a loser and just lose in silence kind of deal.
yeah.
Right. It wasn't just that you were playing in this incredible match either. You were playing SI knowing that this was your last dance, I believe you called it, with W7M. Now, obviously, when you leave an organization and go to another organization, there's things that you're not going to share. So obviously, I know that you might not be fully comfortable sharing all of the details, but I am curious to know, how did you know you were leaving W7M? How did you know you were going to FURIA? And what was like the mood for SI? Because it's really easy for a team to either be doing a roster move or leaving their org, and they might not play up to their standards. You just won a world championship knowing that you wouldn't be playing for W7M anymore. So how did all of this unfold?
So after the Six Invitational, our contract was going to end right after. So before it, we started to getting some offers from some teams, and Furia was one of them. And we also got the W7M offer of renewing with them. And we had to take that decision before the Six Invitational because of how the contracts work. And we did it. We chose Furia because we thought that it was better financially, was better. They had better structure, so it was better for us. And we went to the Six Invitational knowing it was our last dance, but we wanted to win again with them. Like, we had nothing against W7M. We only have had gratitude for them because they've been a great org for us. And it was a Six Invitational. It was a Six Invitational in Brazil, so why wouldn't we want to win? So we gave everything that we had, and we won.
Was it bittersweet at all, knowing that you were going to be going to a different org? Did you like look back and, be a little sad that you were leaving W7M, or was it mixed emotions, or were you just excited and you're like, let's get this over with, let's win SI, let's go to Furia?
No, we were really excited, and we wanted to win with W7M because we wanted to finish our story with them with the highest, the biggest tournament win. It was Six Invitational, so we finished it perfectly. We had the perfect year in the Rainbow Six Siege, so we were excited to go to Furia and build another story.
Quite literally the perfect year. You won every single thing. Lots of teams tried to win an entire calendar year. I mean, G2 Pento was the high water mark for a long time, and I don't even think I'm trying to remember if they won everything in their year. I don't think they did, but I mean, mind you, there were 4 events back then.
Yeah.
But I mean, you certainly cemented your legacy, and it is, in my eyes, it's the most impressive year that any team has ever had in our esport, and I think it was very well deserved. What was it about Furia that drew you to them?
Like I said, the offer was better financially for us, and they were a bigger organization. Like, Furia is the biggest organization in Brazil, the biggest Brazilian organization that we have in Brazil, and they have a really good structure. They have really great investors. Like, Neymar is one of the investors for them. So yeah, it's just a big org doing a great offer for us. We couldn't refuse, so we wanted to join them.
Were they a more hands-on org than W7M? Did you see, were you given more support systems? Were they around more, or was it basically the same as W7M?
I think actually W7M was around more. Like, they were uh, the human part, like the managers and the CEO, everyone there, they were closer to us than Furia, because that's normal. Because Furia, like I said, is a bigger organization,
Yeah.
so they have way more departments, they have way more lineups. And in W7M, we were kind of the main thing. The Rainbow Six Siege roster was kind of the main thing of the organization, so we had a closer relationship with them than Furia.
And I'm going to come back to this because now you're with Team Liquid Alienware, and they themselves are a huge organization. Maybe not as big in Brazil as Furia is, but they are certainly a massive organization globally. And I am eager to see how your experience with W7M and with Furia now I guess kind of loops into with Team Liquid Alienware. Admittedly, you've only been with T-Law for a month or so at this point, so I mean it's give or take, maybe even less. I don't know exactly when you signed with them, but I am eager to pick your brain on that. But first, let's talk about Furia because you spent a year with Furia, and I think it's pretty fair to say you didn't really have the same success under that organization as you did with W7M. Now, was there anything in particular that you think prevented you guys from being as dominant? Because when you won SI 2024, everybody was using the word dynasty, 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 dynasty. There's no reason to suggest that this team's going to slow down. And then you get to Manchester, you lose in the quarterfinals to
Liquid.
Team Liquid in what I think, other than the grand final, was the best match of Manchester. In Montreal, you didn't even make it. You got beat by Black Dragons in the LCQ finals. In SI 2025, you top your group, you ultimately lose to BDS, and then you lost to FaZe Clan in what was the rematch of SI. Was it just a tougher year for you? Was it complacency and laziness, or was the meta not favorable? Because if memory serves correctly, we lost the 1.5 scope right after SI 2024, so that had a huge change on the game. What was it that caused
Yeah,
you to not be as dominant?
I think it was a lot of factors combined. Like
Yeah,
the main factor, I think it was the meta changes. Like you said, we had the removal of the 1.5 scope of the game, and we had great players with 1.5 like Hertz, Casey, and we were dominant in that meta, so it changed a lot for us. And we also had the shields added. Like we had shields in the game, but we had the shields rework. Like
right.
now they run with the shields. Now they like everyone know like how shields are today, and they are broken. So we had that, and it changed a lot the way the game was being played for us. And also, besides that, we had a little bit of complacency because we won everything. We had the perfect year, and again, we knew that we shouldn't. We talked about it, but it's kind of hard not to. So yeah.
I could imagine you win Copenhagen and you're like, hell yeah, we won it all. And then you win Atlanta and you're like, we won it all again. And then you win SI and you're like, okay, now we've literally won it all. Outside of like
Yeah.
what, like EWC, what else is there for you to win? Right? Like at that point in time. So like you guys you go down in history as easily one of the top two teams ever. You're still writing your legacy. That's the craziest part. Like you're still going. It's nowhere near done. I would argue what you've done is even more impressive than what G2 Penta did because now you're doing it in a far more competitive environment. Like when G2 Penta were as dominant as they were, there were a lot of bad teams that were making events. Let's be completely honest. Now, if you're like, look at Paris SI, look at all the teams that made it. That isn't like all like half of those teams probably could have beat G2 Penta in a grand final, 7 years ago. That's just how much more experienced and developed this game has gotten. It's no shade to G2 Penta. It's just the reality of an esport where even the worst teams are better now than they were, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So like you're still writing this story. Did you feel any pressure from Furia, or did you feel any pressure from yourselves because you were playing for Furia that might have impacted your success?
I think we kind of felt the pressure of having to do the same as we did last year, which was kind of impossible
Yeah.
because we had the perfect year. No one did that. So why would we do it again? Like we wanted to do, but how could we? So it was hard, and we had the pressure of doing that again, of winning a major. Like winning a major was the minimum for us. Like at the time the Furia signed us, they were expecting us to sign and win a major right after. So after we didn't, and after we didn't qualify for the Montreal major, we were like devastated. We were in a bad state mentally. We almost made changes to the team, but then we sat through and we talked about how good we were, and how we should start working more, and having the Six Invitational as the final tournament for us, like the defining tournament for us. Like we would do everything that we did in the past, like we work late hours and stuff like that. And if we didn't do good in Invitational, we would change the team. And we did good. Like we got third place there, and we went another year together, and we won Reload.
How much pressure is there on you as the IGL? Because the team is obviously not finding the same success. Do you feel like you are responsible for that? Do you feel like you need to do different things to change it up?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure because as the IGL, I'm the one that calls stuff. So of course, I feel responsible, more responsible than the others. But like I said before, I have to try not to dwell on that thought,
Yeah.
not get stuck on it. And but yeah, sometimes I got stuck on some bad thoughts, and I felt the pressure.
How did you get out of those bad thoughts? Did you have help?
Yeah, we have a really good psychologist with us. It's Irene. Shout out to her. And she went with us with Liquid now. She worked from FURIA and now she's with us in Liquid. So she's really good and she's helping us.
That's it's something that has come up a lot in sports is sports psychologists. Especially if you play on a team in a specific role, like let's say you're a goaltender in soccer or football and hockey, or you're the quarterback in American football, for example. Like there's a lot of pressure on you. You're the only person on your team who does that, right? And a lot of those positions will have sports psychologists just try to get their head in the game, because I'm sure you as an IGL, if the team loses, I'm certain you feel way more pressure than everybody else. So it's like it's important that you have people around you to ensure that you don't punish yourself too much. You might have your, like sort of like meditation and breathing exercises, but you're also, at the end of the day, you're a human with feelings. And like, even just from our conversation right here, right now, it is so abundantly clear how much this stuff matters to you and how much you care. I can imagine you beating yourself up a lot when the team doesn't do well. And it's important that you have like a support structure, either it be like family or whatever, there to help you, because
Yeah,
you shouldn't be the one who just wears every loss, right?
yeah, of course. And my team also helps me a lot. Like I said before, we have a really safe space, like an open space to
Yeah.
say things, to say that we are not comfortable with something or that we are sad with something, and we help each other a lot.
Yeah, I think that's really important. How was the vibe of the team? Like, was everybody frustrated with the results? Like, was there? I know you said that you almost made roster moves. I part of me wants to ask what that would be, but I also think you wouldn't. Like, most teams are not going to tell me, so like I get that. Um, but like, what was the mood on the team? Was it anger? Was it frustration? Was it like, did some players just not care that you were losing?
Uh, no, everyone cared a lot that we were losing, but I don't know. We were in a bad moment, and we never felt that because like we said before, we had the perfect year before, so we were in the top of the world, and then after that, we weren't even qualifying for the Montreal Major. So it was really hard for us, and we wanted like to kill ourselves. Like we were angry, we were discussing a lot, we were with a lot of ego at the time. So no one wanted to be wrong. Like everyone wanted to be right and anything. So it was a really hard time. And after that, like I said, we went to the invitational with another mindset. Like it was a good moment for us, the not qualifying for the Montreal Major, because we had a 2 month break that we didn't have for a long time because we were going making deep runs in every tournament. So we didn't have a lot of breaks, and with not qualifying for the Montreal Major, we had a 2 month break, and then we did a lot of travels. I went with my family to the countryside, visited my friends, and it was a good moment for the mental health. And then we came back after that, like with a new mindset for the invitation, and it was really good.
It takes a big toll on you, basically always working, right?
Yeah,
Like Pengu talked a lot about this, and I know that some people might get tired of this comparison, but it's like I don't know if you feel this way, but it's like I feel like your team and the G2 Penta team are just always going to be compared, because you two are the only two teams that have ever done this, right? Like, and if you talk to them after they lost in Sao Paulo to Black Dragons, Shas, the coach, openly said, like, I think it's good that we finally lost because it allows us to feel hungry again. And when G2 didn't make it to Milan, there were a couple players on the team who were like, we finally miss an event, we actually get to have a break. Like
Yeah.
it's I can only imagine on your end, and again, I've never been there, but I can only imagine on your end what it's like where you're honestly, you're always working. You don't get a vacation. Like some teams have openly said, like, and teams that are way less successful than yours are like, I haven't had a vacation in 2.5 years because it's like every time we miss an event, we just spend the entire time scrimming and grinding.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, we have like 1 week breaks like after events. So, but one
Yeah.
week is hard, and is not like I have 1 week break in the middle of March, for example, and then I come back to my city, and everyone is working, everyone is studying, and it's not the vacation moments, you know. So
Yeah.
it's hard. And now like I did a travel right now after the Six Invitational. I had 1 week, and I went with Raz, Vita King, and it was a good moment. And we have to like uh, cherish these moments because it's really it's not a lot of moments that we have for ourselves.
I mean, you've made a lot of money. You've won a lot. Like you've accomplished a ton. You're 24 years old, and like the what you've done in your life is insane. Like I hope you don't forget how impressive it is what you've done. But at the same time, like life can be really short. Like almost nobody is going to be on their deathbed being like, I wish I worked more. Most
Yeah.
people are going to be on their deathbed being like, I wish I spent more time with my family and friends. And I think, again, this comes from the cheap seats because I'm not a player. So maybe I'm wrong and maybe teams will disagree with me. But it's like you can afford to take a week or two off to just live your life and be happy and vacation and travel. And I think that's really important
Yeah.
because if you are just always working, 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 you're going to get burnt out. You're going to, your perspective's going to change. Your goals are going to change. It's nice to just shut off the world for a week or two and just go lie on a beach and drink, what are they called? Carinas? Parinas? What is the,
Hyperions.
yeah,
Hyperions.
just go do that like for a week. Like just
Yeah, it's
enjoy
good.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you guys of all the teams, I think you've probably earned it the most with how well you've done. So I'm very glad that you got that chance to kind of, like just rest. And so you don't have exactly the best result at Manchester. You don't make it to Montreal, but then you have a great result at SI 2025. Did anything change other than the break?
Like I said, the mindset changed. Like we almost made a roster move, so we almost uh, didn't keep the team together. And after that, after we decided not to make the roster move, we sat down, we talked a lot, we talked about the problems and what we were not agreeing with in the team, and we decided that that might be our last tournament, the Six Invitational. We will do
Yeah.
our best, and if we didn't do well, we are going to everyone we're going to go to other teams. But then we did well, so that's it.
When you did have that roster move, and again, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable at all. So if at any point you don't want to talk about this, where you feel free to say so. But some teams, when they make roster moves, they don't tell the person that they're going to drop them. When you were discussing roster moves, did the player know that they might be moved off the team?
No, it wasn't something certain at the time. Like
Okay.
we were just thinking about maybe doing more roster moves, but it wasn't nothing certain. And like I said, we were like with a lot of ego. We were almost killing ourselves, like discussing a lot, fighting a lot. So it was a hard time, but it was not nothing certain, you know.
Was that the hardest time being an IGL? Like, if you look at your career, what is, if that's not it, what is the biggest struggle you've had as an IGL?
No, I think it was the hardest time, yeah, because we didn't qualify for the major, and for the standards of our team, that's like really bad.
How responsible did you feel for not making it to Montreal?
I felt really responsible. I remember at the time, like I was really punishing myself, like uh, I was taking all the responsibility on me. And I remember talking with Igor and Irene, the psychologist, and they were helping me a lot in understanding that it was not my fault. Like, of course, I had a fault in that. I had a responsibility, but it was everyone's responsibility. It was not mine only. So I tried to understand that and to not get stuck on that thought.
You also had the big meta change, right? And then you referenced that too. So I mean, it's you can say it's complacency, you could say that it was like team issues, you could say it's egos, etc. But I mean, losing the 1.5 fundamentally changed the way the game was played, especially with shields becoming suddenly so popular. And you obviously you play in a region where I think it's fair to say, you might disagree with me here, but I think it's fair to say Brazil has always been a very good region when it comes to shields, almost like you were ahead of the curve. How hard was it to adjust your team to two really big meta swings in such a short period of time?
It was really hard. We couldn't do it, to be honest, because we didn't have a shoot player in our team, and with the 1.5 changes, it was like two big things changing for us, and we couldn't handle it, and we couldn't be the team that we were.
You've seemed very resistant as a team to have a proper shield player. Why is that? Is it just not made sense with your playstyle?
Firstly, because we didn't have a shoot player, like I said, so we would have to change a lot of things.
Mhm.
And secondly, I think maybe the ego, like we want everything playing in some certain way, so we would change everything now. And now, like looking nowadays, of course, it was the right decision to change things. But at the time, like after winning everything, playing certain way, it was hard to change everything.
Lots of teams didn't have shield players. So I mean, like you guys weren't alone in that regard. There were a lot of teams that either had to put somebody on a shield or had to pick somebody up. How did the team conversations go about that? Did you want a shield player or did you spend too long trying to fight against the trends before finally giving in?
Some of the discussions of the fights that we had, like I said, was because of that. Because some people were saying that we needed that, some people were saying that we didn't need that. So it was hard to uh, like to get everyone on the same page. And like I said, we couldn't do it. We didn't qualify to the major because we weren't on the same page. And after that, finally we agreed on something.
Who makes that decision? So like let's say your team is like perfectly split. You like three players don't want shields, two players want shields, and your coaches want shields. Who ultimately makes that call? Like where does it go?
Nowadays, it's Igor. Like I said, we give him a lot of ideas. We can
Mhm.
say anything, but the final decision is always him's. But at the time, we were with so much ego, like everyone, not me, not Casey, not Hurt, but everyone was with so much ego that we wanted things our way, and we wouldn't accept it like in any other way. So I had my opinion, Hers has his opinion, Igor has his opinion, and we wouldn't agree on it. So it was a really bad moment for us.
Yeah, I mean it was interesting to watch because again, I'm separated from Brazil from a language perspective. And I was casting Brazil quite a lot, doing the English language broadcast. But I Brazil is just such an interesting region because the way that the Brazilian teams match up against each other and then the way that they play internationally always seems to differ a lot, right? Like again, like there are some teams like I think it's fair to say like FaZe Clan and even Liquid to a certain extent were really really successful in Brazil, but then Liquid in particular wouldn't have the best success internationally. You guys would do okay. Some seasons you do really really well in Brazil, and other seasons you wouldn't, but then you'd come to live events and you just smoke everybody. So it was always tough, I found, to determine what was going right and what was going wrong, which is partially why we like having people like you on the show because it allows you to put everything in context, right? Like we can only speculate. I can openly say like, "Oh, look, they're fighting because it looks like they're yelling at each other on the player cams," but maybe I'm wrong. You even said I was wrong.
Yeah.
I said I don't think Igor shouts at his players that much, and you were like, "You need to go back and rewatch it." Like we get stuff wrong all the time, so it's good to have you come on here and discuss this. So when when you eventually make the call, we're going to start playing the meta more. Did you find it easier to guide the team? Do you think people put their egos aside finally and everybody bought into the system that Igor wanted you all to play?
Yes, it was way easier because we were on the same page. Like, if someone wants to do something and then the other one wants to do something else, like we were a team, so we have to be in the same page. And as a leader, I have to guide my team in a certain path that maybe is not the best, or maybe is not something that certain player agrees, but it's the path that I'm choosing. It's the path that I'm guiding the team to. So we have to follow the same path. Otherwise, we are not going to be a unit. We are not going to be a team.
Yeah. And I mean, you have your position because you're good at what you do. Igor has his position because he's good at what he does. Everybody else on the team is in their role because they're good at it too, but they're not leaders, right? Like your team, I'm assuming your team's not a democracy. Like you don't all make these decisions together. Like you said, Igor gets final say, but even before then, I'm assuming you and Igor do tend to say the most. That would be my guess. Yeah. So you make these changes. Reload happens. You guys look incredible. But is that, and I don't mean to say this disrespectfully, but is that because Reload is kind of an odd event?
I don't think so.
No?
That's like some people say that, but I really do think that people say that because they are kind of envy. Because I think if they won that, they would think as of a big tournament, because it was. We had the best teams in the world there. We won against Secret, that won the WC right after. We won against FaZe Clan, that just had won the Invitational. And we won the tournament. It was a Tier S tournament. Of course, it wasn't the best format, but it was a Tier S tournament. It had good teams. And I think we won that tournament because we understood the meta faster than everyone else's. Because it was the launch of CJX, if you remember. And we had the new things, the sound, the pipes, and the bands. The band system was a great deal, a great new deal. And I think we understood better than everyone else's at the time, and we abused the meta better than everyone else's in the reload.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with abusing the meta. You know, I like use the tools that are at your disposal. Like if an operator is stupid broken, I think you're almost a fool for not using that operator to try to win. Like you want to do everything possible to win. It's like your current org. Like a lot of people who don't like Team Liquid love to say, oh, well, the only reason why they won Atlantic City was because they abused Lion. And it's like G2 could have done, or well, Penta could have done the exact same thing. Like there's like, I think that's just
it's the same with shields. It's the same with shields, and the same and like in reload, I'm not even saying that we abuse the operators. We abuse the band system, because everyone was like thinking the same thing, thinking inside the box. Like, for example, Bank. Everyone was banning Ace and Hibana because everyone was playing like opening the long walls and stuff like that. And then we were the only team that banned Twitch and Brava, and we started playing Maestro and Melusi and all the traps. And nowadays, like, it's not a good ban, Twitch and Brava, but at the time, like, just thinking outside of the box, just doing something different with the bans, gave us leverage against other teams.
And I mean, again, it's like you said it was envy. I also think it's cope. People that lose reload are like, and I mean, people say this about EWC too, where they're like, oh well, you know, and I've said it like, people don't care about EWC. It's just all there for the money. Is that just cope because people don't win? Like that's entirely possible, right?
It is, because I also said that sometime, like BDS won 3 times EWC, and it's just a WC. But no, I want to win the WC. Like I always go there and give my best. So if I win, I'm going to be proud of me. And then if I lose, I'm going to say that's not important. No, that's not how it works.
It's like everybody who beats me is cheating or stream sniping.
Yeah.
So speaking of EWC, you go to EWC. It has historically been a bad event for Brazilian teams. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, Brazilian teams do not seem to do well at EWC. It's always European teams who do well.
Because it's not Spartan.
You go to EWC hot off of your win in Reload, and you have a good run. You finish third. Ultimately, you end up beating SSG in that third place match. And the two teams that make it to the finals are Secret and G2. I want to ask you about how you did there, but I also kind of want to ask you about Team Secret, because for a lot of people, EWC was like the beginning of the Team Secret rise. So I want to ask your perspective about what do you think changed with Team Secret? Because you got to see it firsthand. You got knocked out, but you got knocked down by G2. You didn't get knocked down by Team Secret, but you got to see them at EWC. They kind of came out of nowhere for the average person. If you'd been paying attention, you could see it coming, but for the average audience member, they kind of came out of nowhere. You as a professional, you as a big brain player, what do you think happened with Team Secret to make them suddenly become this incredible team that would make, 3 events in a row of deep runs?
I think Team Secret, they had a good core already with Savage and Adrian, and it was Jum, I think,
Mhm.
the core. And then they had the addition of Mowgli and Noah, which are great players. So they were already a good team, and with the addition of these 2 players, they went to the next level. And I think Savage is a really good IGL. Like I really admire him. I watch him play, and I like to watch his VODs and his play style, and I think he's a great IGL. I think he's a great part of why they are a good team, and they have really great players, and they have a good leadership in Twister and Vivas, who is the assistant coach. So it's a good mix of everything there, and they're probably really hard workers as well. So it's the it's the recipe for success.
He speaks Portuguese too, Savage, right? He's
Yeah,
from, yeah. Do you
he's Portuguese.
Yeah, are you able to do you talk often?
Yeah, in the events we talk. He has a little bit of accent because he's from Portugal, but we understand each other, and yeah, we talk.
It's, I'm very glad that you said that about him because I read a couple. Again, if you're watching this video, I read the YouTube comments. If you leave comments, and we don't usually do call to actions during guests, but if you have anything to say, sound off in the comments down below. But there has been a constant conversation involving Savage as too heated, not exactly great at his job, like too toxic, etc. And we had Noah on the show 2 weeks ago, and he praised Savage and said, like, he's an amazing IGL. I think he's way better than people think. And then you're probably one of the best IGL to ever touch the game. You're now saying how good Savage is at his job. I think it's important that the community understands that their perception is not always the same as what the pros think. Like another good one was like Citizen took a lot of heat in our most recent video because of conversations that were had there. But it's like you talk to players and they will trip over themselves to tell you how good he is at the game. Like just because the community thinks something doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And I'm very glad that you're giving, Team Secret the credit they deserve because of their IGLing. I think it's important that people with, experience are able to weigh in on this and kind of shut down some of the naysayers. And I am a little interested to see how Secret does now with Citizen and Nafe on the squad. I am a little worried that it will be a step down from having, Jum and Adrian, but I think Nafe and Citizen are extremely talented. And I think, if Savage is as good of an IGL as everybody says, then he should be able to get a lot out of Citizen and Nafe. That
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
think it's going to be a good team. In my opinion, they are going to be worse than they were because they were a great team, almost
Yeah.
perfect in every way. Like they mixed it well together. Uh, but they are going to still be a good team. Like they are going to be in the contenders. They are going to maybe win tournaments. Let's see.
Do you think that they had a chance against FaZe Clan? Because when we spoke to Noah basically said we were too nervous for map 1 and a bit through map 2, and we finally woke up, and then it became a much more competitive game. Do you think, as an observer and as somebody who knows FaZe Clan in particular quite well, do you think that if they had woken up a little bit earlier, there was a chance that Secret could have won SI?
I think they had a chance. I think they were playing really good. Maybe even better than FaZe, like strat wise, like on the paper. But like by the time they got to the match, FaZe was playing way better because they were more experienced in finals. They were more relaxed and they were doing their stuff and not thinking about the crowd. About I don't know what Secret was thinking, but clearly they were not mentally there in the match.
And again, it goes back to something you said, at this point almost 2 hours ago, about how if you've never experienced something, you don't really know how to handle it. Like Team Secret are playing in the grand finals of an SI.
Yeah.
You have no experience unless you've been there before, right? So it's like, and even Noah said, like, the pressure got to us.
And FaZe was their third time playing, so
Yep.
they had
Yep.
plenty of experience.
And I mean, even those players on FaZe Clan have been around forever. Like those guys,
Yeah.
like I bet you FaZe Clan's players have probably forgotten more finals than half the people in this entire sport have played. So it makes sense. So EWC obviously comes around. It doesn't matter because you don't win. It's not an important event because you didn't win, but Reload, very important event because you won it.
That's the mentality.
That's the mentality. So Munich comes around and you find yourselves in a very interesting spot on what was it, day 2, you were basically facing elimination. And you had to fight every single game wondering if that was the end of the road. That's kind of a unique spot. Your team has never really been in that bad of a situation that early in an event. What were the vibes like on the team?
It was not good. We were again fighting a lot and discussing a lot. We had all the 2024 stuff all over again because we were not playing good. Uh, Also, there's something like it may sound as an excuse, but I think it's important to say that we got to the tournament and we got 3 days earlier in the tournament. We got there, and
Mm.
we didn't have a practice room to practice because it was not working. The PCs, the monitors, and all that stuff, or the internet, I don't know, it was not working. So we had 3 days off, like not playing the game, and then we had the first day of the group stage, and we had 2 BO1s, and we lost both of them, and we got sent to the lower bracket. And I know that like in spite of it, we were playing bad, but we were not playing that bad to lose the both of the BO1s in the first day. So it's kind of an excuse that we didn't play the game because other teams didn't do as well. But yeah, we know that we could have done way better in the first day. And that first day dictated a lot of how the tournament went because we went to the lower bracket in the first day.
I mean, I understand that you can say like, well, every other team was in the same situation. Like I remember reading a couple things on social media about teams complaining that they couldn't practice, they couldn't play, yada yada yada. Like some of the rooms were too hot. Like Munich was plagued with a couple like issues with the hotel really early on that seemed to get resolved, but didn't get resolved quickly enough. But to your credit, I think that if you're coming in less prepared or if you're coming in less comfortable, those first few days of practice are way more important for, say, you than a team that is, coming in really confident and really
Yeah.
well rehearsed. Like, so I don't think it's cope. Like, I think it is genuinely a realistic situation where, like, yes, every team was in this situation, but it hurt you disproportionately. It hurt you way more.
We also
So,
didn't do a boot camp for the tournament before, so uh, yeah,
why is
it was.
that?
I don't know. By the time FURIA didn't want to pay us the boot camp, I don't know why, but yeah.
Um, I guess this is a question that could be asked a little bit later, but whereabouts did you know, if at all, that you wouldn't be going back with Furia? Was that something that was decided around Munich or SI, or was that something that was kind of last minute?
It was decided before the SI, like
Okay.
it was decided when we left W7M to go to FURIA, because that's how the contracts work in Siege. Like the contracts end right after the SI. So if you delay it to decide things after SI, it's going to take like a long time maybe.
Yeah.
And we wanted to decide before. So before the SI, we knew that we were not going to renew with Furia.
So when you went to Munich, there was no like org troubles or anything. Like there was nothing.
No, no, in Munich,
Okay,
no.
perfect. And then obviously you end up losing to Secret of the teams that I had just talked about. What is it like playing against them? You've played against a lot of teams, especially really, really good teams. What was it like playing against Secret at Munich?
They were just better than us. Like it was not a game that oh, we didn't play like ourselves. We could have done things better. No, they were just better than us. We couldn't do anything. Like we should have been more prepared for that match, and we weren't. And they were a better team in that time.
What is it about their playstyle that beat you? Is it that they were more aggressive? Is it they were more prepared with their strats?
I think they were more prepared in the meta, like their strats, and they play like really simple siege, but not in a bad way. Like they play a simple siege, but very well executed. Like they do things very well, and they can adapt things in the middle of the round, mostly because of Savage. I think so. Really well. So they're doing like a simple thing, and you know what they're doing. But in the mid round, Savage I think adapts stuff, and you don't know it, and you just get surprised. And they're really good at that. And also they have a really good gun power, firepower with
Mhm.
Joom, Noah, and Mowgli, of course. And it's a good team.
I mean, I like that you say that simple is not an insult because a lot of people would hear that and think like, oh, but it's like, I mean, the team that always jumps to mind for me is that old Empire Virtus Pro squad that literally did the same thing every single round with only minor adaptations. And most teams would tell you, we know exactly what they're going to do on console. We know Karjak is going to swing into admin. We know he's going to hold it with Zofia. We know they're going to get somebody on window, blah, blah. And it doesn't matter because even if you know it, if their gun skill is good and they make small changes, they'll just beat you. And
Yeah.
that's not bad, right? That's not bad. In fact, it's actually quite a compliment that you can do the same thing over and over again in a very simple manner and still win.
Yeah. And it's not like they do the same thing all over again. Like they
Yeah.
all, of course, they change things. Like nowadays in Siege, you can't do the same thing, like all over the again. But they change
Mhm.
things and do very well.
Yeah. And I mean, it's goes back to a point you raised earlier as well, where regions play differently. And it's like watching Team Secret versus watching G2, completely different teams. It's not like you're looking at, oh, these are both European teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after Munich, you go out in the lower bracket quarterfinals. It's not exactly the run that you want. You come into SI. Now, at this point in time, sometime between Munich and this Six Invitational, you've just said you've made the decision to leave FURIA. Did Team Liquid approach you? How do you end up in a position knowing that you're going to go to Team Liquid? Did you know you would go to Liquid, or was it one of those things where you talked and you're like, we just know we're not going to re-sign with FURIA after SI?
Before SI, it was already decided that we were going to Liquid, so we knew it. And it was also decided that we were not going to stay with Hertz. So we played SI knowing all that, and the Hertz, of course, knowing all that, and Furia knowing all that. So it was kind of bittersweet for us because it was not so like the relationship mainly with Furia was not so good after they knew that we're not going to sign with them again,
Mhm.
and so it was kind of strange, a weird tournament for us.
So there's a lot of things I want to ask about here. So I guess the first one was, what comes first? Do you make the decision, okay, we're not going to re-sign with Furia, let's look for other orgs, or does an org come to you and say, hey, we want to sign you, and then you go, okay, we'll do this, and now we're not going to stay with Furia?
No, we had
What's the
offers
process?
from the process is like getting the offers from the teams that want us. Like Furia wanted to renew it with us. Liquid wanted us.
Mhm.
There were other orgs that wanted us. I'm not going to say here, but
Of course.
we get the offers, and then we sit down as a team and decide what we're going to do. So it's not like we're doing a negotiation with Liquid said this Furia, so you have to raise up. No, we just have the offers and we decide. That's
Yeah.
it.
Is that the kind of thing where Liquid sends you an offer and then you go to Fury and you say, hey, like Liquid has offered us this, will you match it? Do you play like orgs against each other to try to get a better deal?
No, no,
No?
we didn't do that. No.
That's admirable. I'd be
Yeah,
taking that and being like, pay me
because
more.
we told Furia we told Furia like in the first meeting that we had with them that they had to do their best offer for us because we didn't want to do exactly that, like doing
Yeah.
like you go from an org to another and like
Like
you know
negotiating. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, negotiating, yeah. So we told them like do your best offer because we have other offers, and we are going to discuss it and decide where we want to go.
Yeah. What was it about the Team Liquid offer that you liked? If you can obviously get into specifics, I'm assuming there's stuff that's covered under like NDAs and all that, so you don't like ruin yourself. But what was it about Team Liquid that drew you to them?
Uh, I think mainly is the structure because, like I said, Furia is a big organization. They are maybe the biggest org in Brazil, but Liquid is might be the biggest org in the world. I think because they are really good, really big.
It's definitely
And
close. It's definitely close.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they have facilities in North America, they have in Europe, they have even in Asia, and here in Brazil. So they are a big org, and so structure wise, I think they are better than Furia, and it was a really good point for us to decide. And also, we would be like the main thing for Liquid here in Brazil. Like in Furia, we felt like we were maybe not getting the treatment that we deserved because they have Counter Strike, they have Kings League, they have a lot of other things to focus, and they were not focusing their attention on us anymore. We felt it, and on Liquid we have like the partnership with Alienware right now, and they give a really good uh, how can I say, like they really focus on Rainbow Six Siege here in Brazil, like
Yeah.
Liquid. Is the face of Liquid Brazil is the Rainbow Six Siege. So now with the partnership with Alienware, even more, and I think it's good for us. We thought it was good for us, so we decided that.
I mean, Liquid didn't really have much of a Brazilian footprint prior to picking up the Rainbow Six team, right? Like Liquid was largely a European and NA org, at least as far as I'm aware. And now, mind you, I have blind spots in other esports, so it's possible that I'm just forgetting things. So, Team Liquid, please don't come for me here. But um, I think Liquid made a really smart strategic move to keep Zig around after he retired. Like Zig is humongous. Like, he was massive in the Battlefield community, and then he comes over to Siege, and he was really big in Siege, and then he retired. And, he wanted the Atlantic City major, or the Atlantic City event. It wasn't a major. And then they had a couple other guys coming up. So what do? They sign him to be a streamer. They've got Raza now. Raza is huge. Raza's co-streams are massive. Whether he has Kamikaze on there, whether he has Rayduct on there, whether he has Nesk on there. Like, I don't speak Portuguese at all. And every now and then I will still go watch Raza clips because I think they're so funny, you know? And
Yeah.
then now that Nesk is retired, they've kept Nesk on. Like, these are smart strategic decisions by Liquid to keep themselves both relevant and popular in Brazil. And now they've got, outside of FaZe, probably the most popular and most well-known team in the history of Brazil, now signed to their org, and they've partnered up with Alienware. Like, this is like, whoever's making these decisions, like, these seem like very smart calls to make from the outside. And, I've only ever heard good things about Liquid as an organization. I don't really have any love for orgs. I don't care. They're businesses at the end of the day, and businesses are there to make money. And sometimes, and oftentimes, that means not always caring for their players all that well. But it's like, I want the players to do well, which means I want the orgs to do well. So I can see why they would pick you guys up. I am intrigued as to why they didn't pick up all 5 of you, because when the rumors first started floating around, I'm sure you recall, rumors broke that they were going to be signing the whole team, but not Herds. And then a bunch of the Furia players, at the time Furia obviously, started saying like, oh no, that's not true. The rumors are nonsense, blah, blah, blah. We're going to bring everybody, yada, yada, yada. Obviously the rumors ended up being true. How did you arrive at a point where you did not bring Herds? Who made that decision?
Yeah, it wasn't a Liquid decision. It was our decision. They gave us freedom to they gave freedom to the staff to decide whether we would bring Hertz or not, and we had decided already that we were going to do a roster change uh, after the Six Invitational. Whether it was going to be on Furia or Liquid, we were already doing that. So yeah, it was our decision.
What made you make that decision?
I think we are playing for a long time now. We were a 3-year team, so it's the longest. It was the longest team to ever exist in Siege. Now it's FaZe because they are 3 years and now 2 months, and they are going to stay together more. But it was a long time that we were together, and I think we were not on the same page anymore, and we needed a change. So we decided on that. It was a decision from the whole team, and I think it's a win-win situation because I think it's going to be good for us to play with another player and to maybe get hungrier for the results for the other matchups, and it's going to be good for Hertz as well, for him to come out of the comfort zone and to play with other guys and to be able maybe get new perspectives from other players and other teams. And I think it's going to be good for both of us.
When the rumors first broke, a lot of people were, or a lot of the people that were talking about it were saying that it was between Maya and Loira as your rumored fifth. Was there any truth to that at all? Was there any truth that Loira could have been the fifth on the team?
Yes, it's true. Loira was our first option at the time because we knew him more as a person. We didn't know Maya at all, but it was really tight. Like both are really good players. We knew that, but as we knew Loira more as a person, he was our first option, and then Maya was our close second, and we ended up with Maya, and we were really happy with it.
I mean, Maya looked exceptional on Team Liquid just because of his role and all of that. What do you think he brings to the team, and does he cleanly replace Herds? I know you mentioned that you might need to swap up some roles and stuff like that, but how does he fit within the framework of your team?
Uh, he has nothing like to compare with Hertz at all. Like he's a really different player. Of course, he's a entry, he's a fragger like Hertz. He's always dropping uh, a lot of kills, but he's a really different player. And like I said, we are changing roles right now. Not only him, not only me, not only Nate, not only JV, but also Casey. So it's going to be a really new team for everyone. And yeah, Maya is always dropping everyone in every match. We played against him in Atlanta Major Finals, and he destroyed us in Bank. And he's been a really good player for a long time now, and he never won anything. So he has the he's hungry to win, and he's going to bring that hunger for us, and I think it's going to be really good.
I mean, I can't understand what he's saying, but he gets fired up. Like the image, if I think of Maya in my head, I think of the image where he's like leaned over the desk like this, like
Yeah,
screaming, red face.
yeah,
Like, and I got to imagine like that level of energy can obviously help a team, especially if your team is concerned with too many people getting upset and getting in their heads. And I don't know him well enough, but hopefully he's the type of player that doesn't have a big ego, which makes it easier for then you and Igor to manage the team.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for the time that we worked with him, it's only 2 weeks now, but it's been really great. Like he's someone that it's eager to learn new things. He likes to hear feedbacks, which is really good because there are some players that you tell him something and he gets all uh, like in their heads. So
mhm.
it's really good to see that. And like you said, he's a really energetic guy. So he's always screaming. He's always bring positive energy, and it's really good for us.
I mean, if you're the guy who's sitting there in a match, as you said you were in that one SI final in Sao Paulo, being like, come on, guys, like, let's stay in this, let's stay in this, let's stay in this, having another guy who can do that as well surely must be helpful.
Yeah, of course.
Um, I wanted to say just very cleanly, if you could, how do the roles now work for this team? What are all five of you doing on attack and defense? If you could just cleanly list that for the audience.
Okay. So now I'm the IGL and hard support
Mhm.
and shield player. So I'll be planting the bomb. I'll be playing shields. I'll be doing all that dirty work. Nade's going to be the second support, so he's going to play that long angles, going to watch drones, watch flanks, and playing like helping me in the support stuff. JV is going to be more aggressive now. He's going to be more of a flex player for us. So he's going to play different operators, different things. He's going to do a lot of different things in the server. And Casey and Maya are going to be the entries. Casey more of an aggressive entry. So like for example, Team Secret, you have Mowgli, who is always playing like really aggressive, doing different things like Cyber and Phase as well. So that will be Casey in our team. And you have Maya, who is going to be playing more with me, more with the shields, so more passively as an entry, but always like in the gunfights. And that's basically it.
How confident do you feel? Thank you for that, by the way. How confident do you feel going into kickoff? I know that obviously you've been with the core of this team for so long. You seem to have a good understanding of how your team is going to do at each event. Kickoff is just a couple days away. I think it's about a week away technically. And obviously a spot at the Salt Lake City major is on the line. Do you feel confident that you will be one of those teams that qualify, or is there some concern?
I'm really confident. We are working really hard right now, and I just know that we're going to be there. We're going to be in the major. I know it's not going to be easy. We might lose some game. We might go to the lower bracket. I don't know, but I'm really confident that we are going to be in the major.
And I guess kind of capping off this particular topic is your former organization of FURIA picked up a roster that on paper looks really good. What are your immediate thoughts on that team? Herd's obviously staying on that squad. They got what? They got Boxera, they got Diaz, uh, they got Volps. Who am I forgetting?
Loira and
Loira, that was it. And Loira.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
What do you think of that squad on paper? On paper, it looks really good.
It's really good. It's really good. It's a scary team to play against because they have really aggressive players. Herds, of course, is the most aggressive player maybe ever to exist in Siege. And then you got Luria, who is Luria Demon. It's in his name. He's also really aggressive. And you got Volps as an IGL who also always like to play really aggressive. So it's a really scary team. I think it's a really good team. And we are going to have a good match against them. Herds is going to come back really hungry to win against us. So it's going to be fun.
I don't want to leak too much, but I am supposed to be casting 2 days of Brazil, or well, SAL, I guess technically as it's called now, and I am so hopeful that I get your match versus Furia. I don't know if I will, but oh boy, oh boy,
We're not in
I
the same
I
group.
I want that.
We're
Hmm?
not in the same group.
Wow. I haven't even seen the schedule. I just know what my days worked are. I don't know like who's playing what days, but I just saw that I had 2 dates, and the first thing I thought was like, I want if Furia and Liquid play, I want that match.
But I'm
So,
sure we are going to play for the spot in the major. Like the
well.
siege script is always like that.
Just to finish off where I promised I'd say I'd come back to this point. You said that you liked playing for W7M because you felt like the big fish in their pond, right? With Furia, you kind of felt like a smaller fish in a bigger pond. Team Liquid, it sounds like you're the big fish in their pond yet again. How has your experience been with Team Liquid Alienware over the last couple of weeks? Has it been a great start?
It's being perfect. Everything that we need, it's being attended. Like if we need like we said, we had the psychologists in Furia, and they brought even the psychologists for us. So they are attending everything that we ask, and they are making us feel at home and really comfortable there. Like the people in the office, the people that work there, everyone. It's really good.
That's great to hear. You guys have been grinding as a team for so long. You know, the rise of W7M as a team before you were on it, then the next chapter when you joined it and you inarguably made the team better. You had the best year in Rainbow Six that, any team could ever even hope for, and you made it happen. You didn't even do it in like a boring way. Like, yeah, I mean, like Copenhagen and Atlanta were kind of boring because you guys were just so fucking good. But like you certainly didn't make SI in Brazil boring, that's for sure. And you've been an incredible team to watch. I really like Brazil as a region. I've always liked Brazil as a region. I love casting you guys. I think you are an exciting team to cast. I think when you do well, there are storylines there. When you do poorly, there are storylines there. Your players on the team, whether they're W7M Furia or now Team Liquid Alienware, your players are always just like so exciting to talk about because you've got guys like Herds and JV92 that can easily be insane in matches, and then you got the Nade Handy story. You've got your steady hand on the tiller. Like there's lots of stuff to talk about, and you make it very easy for me to do my job. And I don't usually actively root for teams, but I've always liked Team Liquid as an organization, so I'd like to see you guys do well, and I'm very hopeful that you make a deep run at kickoff, you make it to Salt Lake, and maybe I'll be casting at Salt Lake. So maybe I'll see you guys there if you make it.
Thank you.
Final words. You've been very gracious with your time so far today. It's been a long episode. You've been a terrific guest. I love being able to bring people on to talk about regions that we don't usually talk that much about, and Brazil is kind of a black hole for a lot of the English speaking fans. So thank you very much for coming on and being kind of an ambassador for your region. I'd love to have you on again. Of course, that would mean not qualifying for events. So I could bring you on for the super shows, but you tend to qualify for most events. So, final thoughts before we say goodbye and end the episode.
First of all, thank you, Parker, for inviting me, for having me here. Thank you guys for watching this episode. It was a long episode, so if you're here till now, you like to talk, and just thank you for everyone that roots for us for this long time. Now I hope that you keep rooting for us in Team Liquid Alienware. It's going to be a nice moment for us, a nice chapter now with Maya, and to the Liquid fans, we are coming now to the organization. I hope it's going to be a really good time. We are going to make everything to win tournaments, and hopefully we can do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. FelipoX, thank you for being a terrific guest. Thank you for joining us here on Down But Not Out. I had a blast today. I cannot believe it has been this long. I blinked and the episode is already over. It has felt like we've been talking for 20 minutes, and that is amazing. So thank you so much for being so good with your time. Thank you, of course, to Last Free Nation. Thank you to producer David. Thank you to my co-hosts, Fett, Troy, and Mint, none of whom were available today. And thank you to you, the viewer. Please do me a favor. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, all that stuff. It really helps us out. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, enjoy the episode. We'll see you folks next week.